couple weeks ago in Regina, but that's only, 12 feet. But it still gives everybody an idea what it'll be like and what to do and how to do it.
Music, entertainment, and cheering crowds are expected to add to the excitement in Victoria Park beginning at 8 a.m. on Saturday. A necropsy has confirmed that a bear euthanized by conservation officers was involved in the deaths of 2 people at McTavish Lake in northern Saskatchewan. Deb and Jay McDonald were found dead in the area on July 15th. The Ministry of Community Safety says the wildlife incident is no longer considered suspicious. That's 620 CKRM News. Read more stories from around your community and around the province at sastoday.ca and 620CKRM.com.
Sunny skies this afternoon and a high of 24. Tonight, we're going to be dropping to 11 degrees and mostly clear skies. For tomorrow and for Thursday, highs of 26 degrees and mostly sunny skies. Friday, sunshine, high of 25. And then Saturday, mostly sunny and a high of 26. Right now in downtown Regina, it's 23 degrees with sunshine and nice and calm.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents The Sportscage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Sask Lotteries, bringing communities together. Sask Lottery products fund over 12,000 sports, culture, and recreation groups across Saskatchewan. Be part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The Sportscage. Streaming at sportscage.com, our YouTube channel, and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Welcome to the Tuesday installment of the Sports Cage, which is brought to you by Sask Lotteries, bringing communities together. Sask Lottery products fund over 12,000 sports, culture, and recreation groups across Saskatchewan. We're joining you live from the corner of 12th and Rose in downtown Regina. My name is Tegan Whitco, filling in for Barney, and of course, Colson Schultz is with me, keeping us on the air at 620 CKRM on the stream as well, which you can follow along with at 620 CKRM's website, sportscage.com, and on our YouTube stream as well. Okay, we have plenty to get to here today. Oh my goodness. I might have overstacked the show, which is not something I ever say, but I'm not mad at it. There's a lot going on today. All of our guests are going to be joining us on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline. Perfect pizza, generous amount of toppings, and all the Greek favorites you love. So if you haven't been following the WNBA as of late, there's been a pretty big storyline that we've all been counting down to today to watch unfold. So Caitlin Clark is in Canada. She is in Toronto. In fact, I'm pretty sure they're doing press conferences right away here. And the WNBA welcomes Caitlin Clark to her first game in Canada to face the Toronto Tempo, which, by the way, Toronto Tempo in their inaugural season, of course, here. So it's going to be an interesting matchup. And I know that there's been a bit of that Caitlin Clark bump, so to speak. I think, considering the fact that we have seen the Toronto Tempo maybe not performing at the level that they would have liked to recently, there's certainly going to be a lot of fans in attendance for this massive game. And to join us a little bit later on to talk about that, Daniella Ponticelli is going to talk about just how massive this game is and what it means to WNBA fans. She'll join us a little bit later on this hour. And then, of course, we also have our very own Dante de Caria, also of the Regina Pats. He's the voice of the Pats here on 620 CKRM. He's going to join us live in studio, talk a little bit about the preseason preparations. Believe it or not, a week from tomorrow, we have training camp starting over at the Brandt Center, which is crazy to think about. If you missed the show yesterday with myself and Dave, we had Maddox Schultz join us on the program, and he was talking about those preparations and getting ready for it. I mean, he's been playing hockey all the way through the offseason, I'm sure, and lots of golf, as we learned, but he was at the Hlinka Gretzky Cup as well. They took home gold after a victory over the USA. Go back and listen to that conversation anytime, wherever you happen to get your podcasts, or, of course, at sportscage.com. So Dante's going to come in. We're going to talk a little bit of Regina Pats hockey. We're also going to talk a little bit of Blue Jays because they had that 17-17 stretch yesterday, a rare day off for the club that is still in the hunt for a playoff spot. And I know that Dante himself is a baseball coach here in Saskatchewan, so I know he's going to have some hot takes to share with us. Plus, I mean, yeah, sure, hockey season's right around the corner. Got to talk a little bit of baseball, though. Sun is shining. Beautiful day in downtown Regina, so we'll dive into that with Dante a little bit later on. Shortly after 4 o'clock, Coast to Coast with Arash Madani. He'll be joining us as he does every Tuesday. So just after 4 o'clock, he will be talking about Canada and the men's, women's qualifying flag football in the Olympics in 2028, what that means, what he saw. It's also our first conversation with Arash since the unfortunate loss for the Riders in Hamilton this past weekend. And I'm sure he has some input on that, maybe what the Riders are going to be looking at cleaning up at practice this week. By the way, Riders are not practicing today. They're going to be back on the field tomorrow. So we will have more on the Riders for you as the week progresses. It is a Sunday game this week, so just a little bit of a rest for the club after they came back from out east. And then they're going to be going to the opposite end of the country where they take on Nathan Rourke and the BC Lions this upcoming weekend. So that should be an interesting one with the BC Lions kind of coming in hot right now. Both teams are hungry for a win, so I'm very curious to see how this whole thing shakes out. And of course, he'll help us tee up that game. So Arash Madani right after 4 o'clock. Rob Vanstone, you got to have him on the show too. Come on. He's going to be joining us a little bit later on this afternoon, right around 4:30. Clutch performers as well. I know Colson's got a good one for us. I got a pretty good one too. Glen Suitor. Yeah, he's got some thoughts on that Riders loss as well. So he's going to talk a little bit more about Canada and flag football. Riders lost to Hamilton, what's ahead in BC. And then, of course, we got to touch on the other Rourke quarterback, which is Curtis Rourke, who has been doing well with 49ers in training camp south of the border. I mean, he did get a little banged up in that NFL preseason game last week, but reports are telling us that he's back practicing with the squad. And obviously, you know, as you're in NFL preseason, if you're a rookie, if you're someone new coming in, you have very limited amount of time, very limited reps to prove yourself, to try to crack that PR roster or, you know, just the general roster there. But I think he's got some competition at quarterback there in San Francisco. We're also going to talk about all the other news around the CFL with Glen Suitor. And if you missed it earlier today, it was announced, actually, I don't think it was that long ago. I want to say maybe it was only half an hour ago. The Regina Sports Hall of Fame. They announced their class of 2026 and their inductees for this year. So there were a number of them. And let me just get this all up here so I don't miss anybody. Because I know Dave Thomas was down there and he was getting all the information for us. But the Regina Sports Hall of Fame will be inducting 6 individuals and 1 championship team in 2026. Now, it was only announced today. The actual ceremony itself won't be taking place for a little while here. I believe October is going to be the date of the induction ceremony. Danny Banda, multi-sport athlete, former Roughrider, and Regina Capitals hockey standout will be inducted. Jan Stein, athletics 7-time national para long jump champion and Canadian record holder, will also be inducted in 2026. Louis Koss, lawn bowling provincial champion and longtime Regina Lawn Bowling Club volunteer, also being inducted this year. Ron Schmidt, multi-sport builder, longtime city sports and venue leader who helped oversee Mosaic Stadium development, going to be inducted as well. Mal and Dale Isaac, also multi-sport builders, legendary Saskatchewan sports broadcasters who collectively covered numerous Grey Cups, Olympics, and major sporting events. And then last but certainly not least, the Regina Squid men's water polo team from 2006 made Saskatchewan sports history by winning the 2006 senior men's Tier 1 national championship, the first men's national water polo title for a Saskatchewan team. They will also be honored and recognized in the 23rd installment of this annual induction ceremony on October the 8th. So 139 members have been inducted into the hall already here in Regina, plus 150 honorary members. I am curious, we kind of had this conversation a little while back about Rushmore of Saskatchewan Roughriders. What about Mount Rushmore of Regina athletes, notable Regina athletes? I'm sure a lot of the names that would come to mind are already in the Regina Sports Hall of Fame, but chime in, feel free. Let us know who you think should be honored and recognized. Who's the standout Regina athlete to you? Text us on the Prairie Land Rentals text line, 306-936-6262. Who comes to mind for you, Colson?
I wasn't thinking of athletes that are already kind of in the Hall of Fame. I was just thinking off the top of my head. We had Maddox Schultz on yesterday. What about up-and-coming Regina athletes?
I like where your head's at.
Yeah, because he's a little early in his career to be anywhere on a Mount Rushmore, but...
Okay, but we can say the future Mount Rushmore, maybe.
Exactly.
It's an interesting conversation to have, simply because we have so many great athletes that come out of this province. And I do think we do a great job at honoring them through the Regina Sports Hall of Fame and the Saskatchewan Sports Hall of Fame. But I think there's always more people that kind of slip under the radar that we should probably give a shout out to. So feel free, text us, join in the conversation. I should also mention PumpJack's trivia is today because Barney normally hosts Tuesdays. You almost missed out on your chance to win free food. Thank Colson. Bribe him. Feed him. Give him some free PumpJack's when we play trivia a little bit later on. I think we're going to do that in the 5 o'clock hour. We'll maybe go with that today. And we're going to have some fun with our PumpJack's trivia question today. We're going to keep it a little local. It's a chance for you to call in, see if you get the trivia question right, and we might hook you up with some free lunch, maybe a gift card. We'll see if how well you fare. So we do have that. We also have SaskTel Pick the Score, which we're going to be playing throughout the afternoon. This one is a text to win, however. So you can text in anytime before 6 o'clock, and you just need to send us your score prediction for this Sunday's game. Make sure you include your name. We do need your name in order to know who wins. That's kind of important. So what do we think? What's going to be the final score between Saskatchewan and BC in beautiful British Columbia this weekend? Text that score to us, 306-936-6262. What's in it for you? If you're the closest guess, you win tickets to the next Saskatchewan Roughrider home game, plus a $200 SaskTel gift card. We play this every single week. And again, kickoff is Sunday at 5 p.m. local time.
They win the tickets if I pick them this time. If their score is the closest, then they get the $200 gift card.
See?
Just for clarification.
This is why we have Colson around. Because I could get that wrong. Most days of the week, okay? Well, you win stuff. Predict stuff. Is that enough?
Close enough.
Okay, I did see the thumbs up from you there, Colson. So I think that means that we are ready to get our next guest here on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline, right? Okay, awesome. Joining us now, Western Pizza Guest Hotline, the one, the only Daniella Ponticelli, a WNBA play-by-play voice, here to help us set the scene for what is expected to be a huge night in Toronto. The Tempo welcoming in Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever, who enter tonight at 23-12, and they are certainly in that playoff picture. Daniella, first of all, thank you for taking the time. I know you're calling the game tonight, so it's a busy day for you.
Oh, thanks for having me. I hope that you can hear me okay. I'm courtside right now, and I was in a quieter spot, but then there was a fire alarm. So I think this actually is the quietest I can get. So, but it's always great to chat with you.
Well, look at us getting Daniella Ponticelli courtside from the Toronto Tempo game, pre-game. This is really cool. Tonight's going to be a big night, and I know a lot of basketball fans are going to be watching Daniella. Pretty fascinating considering Caitlin Clark and the Fever are going to be coming for their first ever game in Toronto, north of the border. This has got to just be, a huge game for Canadian women's basketball fans. What does the city feel like right now? Paint that picture for us.
Well, there, of course, there's a lot of excitement, sold out inside Scotiabank Arena. Although I do want to give credit where it's due. Montreal packed 20,000 plus in when Dallas came to town last month. So there have been some really great, well-attended. In fact, that is the highest attended WNBA game that won in Montreal. So it's been exciting this whole season. This just adds a little extra punch because a lot of Caitlin Clark fans north of the border, and I'm right now looking at a number of the people who were able to get in to the pregame a lot earlier, and you definitely Indiana fans in the house.
Oh, I can imagine. It's got to be exciting as well, having a little bit of that home crowd behind the Tempo. I mean, they're going through a little bit of a skid right now, but I understand Brittany Sykes is expected to possibly be playing tonight. What would that mean?
Yeah, part of Toronto's $1 million backcourt. One part of that. It is great to have her back. And one of those quirky things about sports is when she was injured, June 16th, it was at the game in Indiana, the very first meeting between the Tempo and the Fever. And she had to leave in the second half, a non-contact injury, turned out to be a pretty severe foot injury. So after 18 games missed, we've missed her so much. She's back, and she'll get to play at Scotiabank for the first time. And what this means is a bit more help defensively. The Tempo have really struggled on defense, and Brittany Sykes is one of the best two-way players. So great to have her back.
10 straight losses obviously isn't where the Toronto Tempo want to be sitting at this point during their inaugural season. But at the same time, it's an expansion team playing its first WNBA season, right? So what are you seeing from this team that maybe the score sheet doesn't reflect all the time?
Well, we're absolutely looking now forward, right, for the future. While not mathematically eliminated, this is such a strong league, and the top 8 teams currently in that playoff picture are fighting for it, including Indiana. They're fourth tonight, but they want to get even higher up because a lot can change in this next stretch. So for the Tempo, it's all about looking forward to the future. Their 6th overall pick, Kiki Rice, was having a great season before she was dealt a heavy injury to her ankle. So I think a lot of the excitement is just building around the stars who will be here next year, including Marina Money Mabry and Brittany Slim Sykes. And the two of them together are electric. It's going to be so great to see them back on the court.
You know, you brought her name up, Kiki Rice. I did want to ask about her specifically because she's really started to show some impressive flashes. How have you witnessed her game progress? I mean, you're there, you're watching them up close and personal, calling these games all the time.
The best description of her before the injury was fearless, and I would say that has stuck even after coming back. You know, she's coming off a big national championship with UCLA, and she's just confident and poised and still so young. Her ceiling is so high, and she just keeps building. We're seeing double-digit scoring from her night after night. She's kind of getting back into the rhythm she had before the injury. So there's a lot to be excited around, and you think that Kiki Rice could very well be, you know, one of the longest players with the team early on in its history. So it's an exciting night. And you know what? It's always special as well to welcome in the other stars from the other teams. It's still such an exciting time, and I think it will be for a while for the WNBA in Canada because we're also going to Vancouver this weekend coming up. And I can't believe that the Riders play in the building next door the same time as the Tempo. I don't know. I was like, are you kidding me? Couldn't have made one of them a different night. But, you know, it'll just be what it is. A lot of good sports happening in Vancouver this weekend.
Well, for old time's sake, you're going to have to tune into the Rider Broadcast Network. Then you can critique me.
I'm clearly going to have to catch up after I'm done. I'm going to have to tune into you guys and catch up because I'm going to need to know what I missed.
Heck, just go into the broadcast booth. Dave will take you in there.
It would be so great. But thanks so much, as always, for having me on. It's definitely going to be an exciting one here. And hopefully, actually, as we speak, Caitlin Clark is making her way to the court right now. And I don't think anyone has noticed yet. So we'll see. Yeah, there's a murmur from the crowd coming in. So, yeah, it's just a really great vibe. And it always has been. There were people here, by the way, 4 hours before the game.
Oh, gosh.
Just kind of milling about Scotiabank Arena in Tempo gear. So it's just a really exciting and beautiful day in Toronto, too. So add that all together.
And then maybe if you could just quickly talk to Caitlin Clark and, you know, the attention that has been drawn around her, respectfully, like rightfully so. But how has that really elevated the WNBA sport in your experience in the league thus far?
Well, the way I see it is if it results in anyone taking a moment to watch some more highlights and then maybe watch a game and see some of the other stars. I mean, one of the things about Indiana is they're an embarrassment of riches. They're a three-headed monster with Caitlin Clark, Kelsey Mitchell, and Aaliyah Boston. And no one is having a bad night right now. They're not even the best team in the league. That's the craziest thing. So it just goes to show, like, if you can get hooked on it and see the talent and enjoy it, it is so much fun. I just went to a Las Vegas Aces game in Vegas this past weekend against Minnesota, and I just took it in, and it was such a fun, incredible atmosphere. So, like, I love this league even beyond just working in it, and the more people can get exposed to that, the better. So whether you're just a Caitlin Clark fan or you are a WNBA fan or whatever it is that gets you hooked is important, and it is great to see because that's what this is all about, right? Growing. And the league, by the way, next year increasing the number of games. And then each year after that until 2030, another team added in Cleveland, Detroit, and Philadelphia. So this is just growing.
Oh, and it's so exciting to watch the explosion of not only women's sports, but obviously the WNBA and seeing it, you know, dip into Canada, in Toronto, having this inaugural season. I mean, you alluded to it. There were fans there 4 hours before the doors even opened, but how has the city really embraced this new franchise?
Oh, there's billboards everywhere. I mean, the marketing is everywhere. You're seeing people in Tempo gear wherever you go. At other events, that's always a really good sign. You know, it's just one of those things where people get it. They're excited about it. And it is a very hot ticket because Indiana, by the way, will also be the next home game that's happening at Coca-Cola Coliseum, which is a smaller venue. And that was sold out within minutes of it going on sale before the season started. So there's been sellouts every game. I'm not exaggerating. Sellouts every game in that building. It holds between 9,000-10,000. So it is a hot ticket. And I'm just thrilled to be part of this journey. And like I said, they had the Cross Canada series in Montreal, and we're going to wrap it up this weekend in Vancouver, facing some really good teams.
Well, it's incredible to watch all of the hard work that you and the rest of your broadcast crew put in. I know we'll be sitting here in the Sportscage studio in downtown Regina. I'll look up and see, oh, there's Daniella's face. There she is. Okay. That's a lot of fun. And then obviously we love listening to your calls. So I really hope that you have a great call tonight. I hope it's a wildly entertaining game, and I cannot wait to catch up again in the near future, Daniella. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you so much. We'll talk soon.
Okay, that sounds great. She's, of course, the play-by-play host in the WNBA that was previously on the Rider Broadcast Network here in Regina. We know and love Daniella Ponticelli and always appreciate when she takes the time to join us on that Western Pizza guest hotline. Grab yourself some za tonight. Might as well. I've been told the number 2 pizzas are really good. So, yeah, I know Colson's already shaking his head, nodding frantically. Yes, those are the best to go with. Okay. They sound really good. But, yes, we will have plenty more guests on the way. We got to talk a little Riders. Still need to go through your plays of the week that we want you to vote on at sportscage.com. 3 options this week. We'll get to those in just a little bit. Maybe even hear a bit more from head coach Corey Mace in an exclusive conversation that we had with him post-game over the weekend. We also have, fresh Sportscage power rankings that we all put together to start this brand new week. Still that and a lot more on the horizon. Football, hockey, we're going to get to that in a bit. And, of course, the Toronto Blue Jays being back at her tonight. So we'll get to that here in just a little bit. But first, we should take a quick break and get ready for our next guest as Dante Caria, play-by-play voice of your Regina Pats, is standing by. Hang tight. We'll be right back. This is the home of the Pats on 620 CKRM and streaming at sportscage.com.
The Roughriders season is here, and the biggest 50-50 in Saskatchewan is back. Last year's 50-50 raised over $3.3 million for amateur football in Saskatchewan, and we couldn't do it without you. Thank you, Rider Nation. This year, we have bigger loyalty and early bird prizes than ever before, not to mention those life-changing 50-50 jackpots. See all of the prizes and buy your tickets today at riders5050.ca, and never miss a chance to win when you sign up for the 50-50 Club.
Riders 50-50 is presented by ISC.
Lottery license LR260010.
Why test for asbestos? Because before 1990, asbestos was commonly used in more than 3,000 building materials and other products. Because when asbestos fibers become airborne, they get into the lungs and cause severe damage over time. Because asbestos exposure is the #1 cause of work-related deaths in Saskatchewan. Built before 1990? Test for asbestos. Start at worksafesask.ca.
Great coaches make great calls. And at home, you're in control of the game. Add SaskTel TV to your lineup and enjoy popular channels, including sports in stunning 4K for as low as $40 a month. So, what do you say, Coach? Ready to add in the difference maker? Visit sastel.com/make-the-call to learn more. Conditions apply.
Don't miss a minute of Sportscage. Podcasts are posted at sportscage.com. 620 CKRM.
It's the Tuesday edition of the Sports Cage, which is brought to you by Saskatchewan Lotteries, bringing communities together. Sask Lottery projects fund over 12,000 sport, culture, and recreation groups across Saskatchewan. I'm Tegan Whitco in for Barney today. Colson Schultz is with me. And, of course, we have our next guest here ready to rock and roll. Welcome, Dante Caria, play-by-play voice of the Regina Pats. But you wear a lot of hats, my friend.
With the organization, wear a few hats. Obviously excited for training camp, which begins
a week from tomorrow, right?
Week from tomorrow. August 26th is registration, fitness testing, all that good stuff. And then on-ice sessions begin with that wonderful Horning Cup that we're going to be doing. Team Steele, Team Gillies, Team Jolly, and Team Eberly. That all taking place at the Brandt Center. So really looking forward to training camp coming up. And then obviously the home opener at the end of September. That one's going to be fun as well.
It's hard to believe that we're already at this point, September 1st, that first preseason game for the Pats. I mean, I'm curious what you do to prepare.
Maybe you should have Bryce Buns on the show, actually, and ask him what he does to prepare.
Yeah, he's got his work cut out for him. I know they're putting in the ice right now at the Brandt Center, on top of many other construction projects.
Not to let the cat out of the bag or anything, Tegan, but Bryce and his team are doing a lot of hard work to get ready for the upcoming season. That includes obviously Rohan and Evan, who you know quite well on the marketing side. And everybody in the business office from Amy all the way up through Patrick and Gord. And obviously on the hockey side, Dave Bell is getting the boys ready, getting things prepped with, his new assistant coaches, Terrace McEwen and Dale Pedrick. But in terms of, not to let the cat out of the bag, we do have some exciting announcements to go out. Of course, you were quite aware, at the end of July with, the big announcement to talk about, now new affordable ticket prices and Family Zone, stuff like that, with Safeway coming on board in that regard. So, I spent most of my day today writing some, I think 3 or 4 press releases to go out with some exciting stuff that fans will enjoy with some, new kind of fan festival type thing leading into the home opener. That's an announcement that should go out, hopefully by the end of this week as well. So lots to be excited about, not only on the ice, but off the ice as well, Tegan. I think the group is going to be super competitive, super excited to see what Dave Bell is able to do. And obviously, the Pats have, still a good amount of draft capital with, Dale Durkach and Tristan Fry kind of leading the scouting and, player acquisition side as well. So on the ice, I think lots to be excited about with Maddox. I know you had him on last night. And
coming off a gold medal at the Hlinka Gretzky.
Gold medal.
What a mature young player.
He's an awesome kid. I haven't had the chance to really see him too much this summer. Been busy, obviously, myself at the ballpark with the Regina Red Sox. So
busy?
have you.
Yeah.
I've seen you a lot there, too, doing a great job as usual.
I appreciate that.
Looking
You're
forward
just
to having
we're on air.
No. Looking forward to having you back on game days with the Pats as well. So we've got a good game day crew led by Caria and Brooke and Ava and Mac. So, yeah, it takes more than just one person. Like, I can't just say it's all Bryce. Everybody has to be towing the same rope, and I think it's going to be a great year. I mean, we should be announcing our promo schedule coming up later in the month of September, so that's something that Bryce has kept under wraps a little bit as well. So,
do you even know?
Be honest. I don't actually. I wasn't involved in those meetings, but I think we're going to have some cool stuff this year. We've got some exciting announcements. Again, fans are going to have to stay tuned, follow on social media.
And the Sportscage. We got you.
And the Sportscage as well. Yeah. Check in ReginaPats.com, I guess.
Well, that too. You can give yourself a plug, I suppose. When we were talking with Maddox Schultz yesterday, one of the things that came up was getting used to a new head coach, right? And David Bell. He's and you brought up his name. How have your interactions been with him? How is he starting to find? I mean, we had a great conversation with him shortly after the announcement.
Yeah, you did. I've watched all of the interviews that you've done with Red Sox guests, Pats guests. I watched your interview that you did with Dave. It's funny, you guys were trying to introduce him to Western Pizza, just like you did with Parker Trottier as well.
You have to.
He's a 6th-round pick of the Montreal Canadiens, so he should help. I'm going to go out on a limb and say, and I don't have anything to back this up, but I think that Trottier would be a really nice compliment to Maddox and Liam, to be quite honest. He's a gritty player. He plays the 200-foot game, just like Maddox does, but he can go get pucks for those players, so that's just kind of like something that I think could potentially be a line. But as far as Dave Bell goes, he has a huge pedigree. I mean, he's been around for a long time. I've got a little bit of a soft spot as well for him because he played for my hometown team, Ottawa 67s, back in the mid to late 90s.
See, if Curtis were here, he'd be doing the 6-7 thing.
Exactly, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Shout out Curtis.
He has a ton of experience. I mean, you don't coach in the American League for the last however many years with the LA Kings organization and recently the Ottawa Senators organization without being a good head coach. I mean, he's been an assistant coach, associate coach for a very long time. He's got experience in the Ontario Hockey League. From being there at his press conference, he talked a lot about communicating with the players and having that open line of communication with them. I think he's a hard-nosed coach, but he's a great man. I actually sat down just before lunch with him today, had about a 25-minute conversation with him and talked a little bit about his son and the baseball journey with him, given that, I'm involved in the baseball community here and do some training stuff on the side. Looking forward to meeting Nolan, his son, as he moves to Regina with the rest of his family.
You're going to be coaching him a little bit too, aren't you?
Yeah, that's the plan. A little bit of coaching with Nolan. Looking forward to hopefully not upsetting Dave off the ice. So we'll see what he thinks of me as a coach. I've got a lot to learn from him, obviously, because he's been around for a long time, but looking forward to working with all the kids, and in particular, a kid from Ontario, good old Whitby, Ontario boy.
Whippy, Ontario boy. I like that. And you got some games coming up this weekend, right? U13?
Yeah. Team Sask 13U Selects gets underway in Saskatoon. I'll be there on Friday, Saturday, and through Sunday. So looking forward to working with the top 50 2013 born baseball prospects in the province of Saskatchewan, all the way through from down to Estevan, all the way up to Prince Albert. We just saw Carter Beck get drafted, former Saskatoon Berry, 26th overall. He actually just got called up to High A with the Atlanta Braves organization. And, this is a guy that came from Cardiff, Saskatchewan. So I remember when we were doing the evaluations, we had Greg Bronze, who is kind of the main guy for Team Sask, talk to the kids that came from all these like little towns that were actually coming to try out and pretty much saying like, look what Carter Beck was able to do. And he's from just a little town in Cardiff, Saskatchewan. And he's carved out, obviously, so far a pretty good baseball journey. Hopefully, knock on wood, he gets to the major leagues. I don't know if that'll happen this year, but I think it'll happen in the next years to come. And so I'm looking forward to see what the next wave of potential college baseball players are coming out of this province. So should be pretty exciting, yeah.
I know we are still in the thick of baseball season here, and we'll get to the Jays in just a little bit. But before we move too far away from the Regina Pats, I know that you spend just as much time with that team and looking at the roster as anybody. Who are we not talking enough about as we head into this 2026-2027 campaign? Are there any names that are jumping off the page at you?
Yes. Mathis Paul, I think, is a guy that potentially has an opportunity to get on the Central Scouting rankings list. I don't know if it will be at the preseason rankings, but he'll definitely get in one of those midseason rankings. He's 6'3", he can skate, he's gritty. In the limited ice time that he had last year, just because he was only 16 years old, I thought he actually produced quite well. I think he could have a Zach Lancer type season where we saw him get drafted in the third round by the Carolina Hurricanes. So Mathis Paul, I think, is somebody that maybe not too many fans, maybe the hardcore diehard fans would probably look at, but somebody that I kind of have, circled on my
watch list, for lack of a better term.
I think out of all of the players that are draft eligible, like their first year draft eligibility, he's the one guy that I project will be a huge difference maker. I think he's going to be slotted in as a top 9 forward this year. Now, I remember talking to John Paddock a couple of years ago and asking him about when he first came in 2014 and took over the team with Dave Struch and Brad Haroff at the time. And he said it was kind of a clean slate, which actually elevated Adam Brooks and kind of gave him that opportunity to really turn into the player that he is today. And, he played in the NHL with various teams, including Winnipeg and Toronto and Montreal and Vegas. So you never know. Like, there could be a kid that has maybe just been a bubble guy or has underperformed over the last couple of years and could really blossom with a new voice and, kind of someone new behind the bench, different perspective. A guy like Jace Eglin comes to mind. Not that he struggled. I think he's been a really good role player, but I think he can blossom into somebody that can maybe provide a little bit more offense for the team. A guy like Ellis Miette being a 20-year-old. The Pats do have 5 20-year-olds on their roster, so that remains to be seen. So Another guy that could potentially blossom. And I really like the D-core for the Pats as well. I think Reese Hamilton's going to have a huge year as a 19-year-old. Same with Matt Peranich as a 19-year-old. Colton Bridgman comes back as a 20 as hometown boy as well. And they've got 2 European defensemen on the back end as well with Cermak and Tukio that they were able to pick up in the CHL import draft and sign quite recently. So yeah, I think those are some of the guys that kind of jump off the page, but we know the team's going to get offense from the guys like Clausen and Lancer, and of course, even a guy like Keats Fawcett who led the Pats with 30 goals last season, and then, a full season of Maddox Schultz and Liam Pugh with the addition of Parker Trottier will help the team as well.
Yeah, I was looking at the roster the other day thinking about all of the offseason moves, and they're still a young team, but they're not as young as last season. How do you think that's going to help them fare in the standings this season?
I don't like to predict where a team finishes in the standings. I just think they'll be a good team. Okay. I think they'll be a competitive team. Do you think
having a little bit more of that veteran presence will help?
Well, I mean, you do lose your captain in Efren McNutt, so they're going to have to name a captain this year. So again, another fresh perspective from Dave. I mean, I do know that he's met over the phone or in person for lunch with a lot of the players on the team, trying to get to know them and their families. I know Dave and the coaching staff was at the Hlinka Gretzky Cup watching Maddox and Liam play, so that was cool to have their support as well. But he has to see everybody together to decide what the leadership group is going to be, right? So you don't have your captain coming back, so it's kind of a clean slate. You do have 2 alternates, Zach Moore and Colton Bridgman, that are still there, but anything could happen. Just because you were an alternate captain last year or a captain doesn't mean you're going to be an alternate captain this year. I think Dave's really going to push these players in training camp. I think everybody's going to have to prove themselves. Ice time is earned. Everything's earned. kind of has a little bit of that track record just based off what I've heard about him as a coach. And like he has a strong pedigree, and like I think everybody knows coming into training camp that they're going to have to work their tails off in order to earn spots. And there are younger players that are trying to earn spots as well. Guys that are going to be 17 years old that are on the prospect list, guys that are going to be 16 years old as well, and some of the 15-year-olds that are going to be, looking to get their first taste of what it's like to be at a WHL camp, right?
It's going to be some fun hockey to watch at the Brandt Center. I'm excited for it. I know it's August and people are probably thinking, I don't want to talk about hockey just yet, but we do. Yeah, we absolutely do. But we should maybe shift gears just a little bit here, talk about some baseball. You mentioned it yourself. Team Sask coach, you're going to be up in Saskatoon this weekend, 13U. But what about the Toronto Blue Jays? I know you followed the major leagues quite closely as well. Still in the hunt for a playoff spot. How are you liking the way this team has been shaping up recently?
They've been playing some really good baseball as of late. I shouldn't say it's hard to beat the Yankees, but it is hard to beat the Yankees.
Yeah.
But they kind of shoot themselves in the foot a little bit defensively. It's kind of funny to watch them, but really like the Soriano pickup. He's been really good. The pitching staff has done a really good job. Dylan Cease has an opportunity to win Cy Young. He has been lights out. He'll be a top 5 Cy Young finisher this year. I think Cam Schlittler in New York is probably going to run away with that potentially, even though, the month of September is just around the corner. But they're still under 500. They're still fighting to get back to 500 right now. Losing Barger for the season definitely doesn't help, but they do have Kirk back in the lineup as well. And yeah, I mean, Vladdy just... I don't mean to bring it up, but
it's been a year since his last home run at Rogers.
At Rogers Center, yeah.
Yeah, Rogers Place, Rogers Center. Wrong city.
Yeah.
But yeah. At least they had a day off yesterday. He was able to not have to deal with media and talk about it.
It's funny. It's funny you talk about Vladdy because there's kids on my team that, obviously they want to be like Vladdy. In fact, some of them use like the same bat model that he has. And they ask why he struggled this year and stuff like that. Actually, a lot of the kids that I coach always now say their favorite player is Ernie Clement. So he's had
a likable guy.
He's had an outstanding season, and he was a hockey player before as well.
He has the hair for it.
Yeah, he does. You want to hear a story about Ernie Clement?
Yeah.
And if any of my friends from Ottawa, Ontario are listening to this show or go back and listen to it, they'll probably be like, "Oh, we've heard this, Dante." But so when I was in Lansing with the Blue Jays low A team. In 2018, Ernie Clement was with the Cleveland Guardians organization, and he was like a scrappy shortstop, and so I saw him play all year. I broadcasted him.
You were doing play-by-play for them at the time?
I was with the Lance Lugnuts, yeah. I was doing play-by-play. And Clement was playing with the Cleveland Guardians organization. He was with the Lake County Captains, and I remember seeing him for the first time. And so I used to because I'm just like glued to learning more. And so I used to ask the coaching staff if I could sit in on the pitcher or the hitters meetings and kind of listen to how they wanted to attack guys and the video that they would go over and stuff like that. And had they not allowed me to do that, I don't think I'd be able to do what I do today. And so they'd go over the lineup, and then they get to Clement and be like, "No, we're not going to talk about this guy. He's bad. Don't worry about him."
Oh.
Yeah, they're like,
okay.
We don't need to worry about this guy. He's nothing. You could pitch to him type thing. And then, I remember, the Jays picked him up on waivers. It was like, oh, I remember this guy. I remember watching him play. I was like, this guy's in the MLB? I was like, I watched this guy play for, half a season before he got called up to high A. And I was just like... And then I actually went and looked back at his stats, and he was a 244 hitter that year. And, man, he has really just turned himself into an awesome player. Really likable guy, as you said, a player that I think kids in Canada can look up to just the way he plays the game. He doesn't strike out. He plays hard. He's fast. He makes plays on defense. He can literally play anywhere in the field. I know he's been, a second baseman this year, but in the past he's played short. He's played third. He's even played some outfield as well. He's just a fan favorite. I love him, and I'll also admit I never thought he'd be an MLB player just watching him that year.
Well, yeah,
I never thought.
Not
he was a young guy
too.
He was 20 years old, so yeah.
Oh man!
But came out of a really good school too, University of Virginia. Had a great college career, just awesome.
Yeah, I almost forgot that you were doing a bunch of play-by-play stuff out in Ontario. Didn't you cross paths with Shulman?
Ben Shulman, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you guys got way back.
I was in Michigan this year.
Oh, Michigan.
Yeah, in 2018 I was in Michigan. Yes.
Oh, yeah, because that's where you would have. Yeah, but you've done a lot of play-by-play.
Yeah, I have. No, I actually got to call one inning of the Regina Red Sox this year for Donovan.
Oh.
It was actually game 2 of the playoffs that the Red Sox won that game.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, you were good luck then at the time.
Yeah, they won that game. Brady Bye hit a big home run.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what
it
an
was
incredible
fun
season for him.
Yeah, I mean, franchise records, 67 RBIs, 5 hits short of the all-time single-season record, 13 home runs, first Red Sox player to ever hit double-digit home runs. And, you know, no offense to Mitch McDonald, but maybe Brady Bye, the greatest Red Sox player of all time.
Ooh, we're getting hot takes here,
Mitch,
ladies and gentlemen.
I'm sorry if you hear me saying that. Love you, Mitch. Great player. Unfortunately, I never got to watch Mitch play. I know he was a good player. Also, caveat to that, they played less games back then, too. So he also won 2 championships. Brady won 1.
Tomato.
Yeah.
What'd you see in the Berries? I know you watched a lot of WCBL baseball this year. They ended up coming out with the league title. What made them so good?
Well, I was rooting for the Berries just because of my good friend and my mentor, Dustin Mulliken, who's the pitching coach there. Did a great job. Joe Carnahan, a lot of respect for him as well, what he's done. Ethan Murdoch, what a way to finish your WCBL career, going out as a champion. Started off his career with Swift Current with Joe, and then moved over to Saskatoon. What did I see in Saskatoon? Really high-end relievers that they pitched, but they didn't pitch a whole lot during the regular season. Like, I never really saw them against the Red Sox. They kind of always pitched like the same 2 or 3 guys against Regina during the regular season, almost like they were kind of hiding these pitchers. Really good relievers. Obviously some power, but that Aiden Killshaw kid is just unbelievable. Only 17 years old. He's on the Canadian junior national team. Another kid that comes from the Swift Current area, by the way. So not a big time. He's not from Saskatoon. He's not from Regina, and he's turned out to be an amazing baseball player. He's going to a pretty big junior college in Texas, and he's projected to be an MLB draft pick in the next couple of years as well. So when people say that Saskatchewan has a hard time producing baseball players, I'd like to ask why. Is there a large quantity of baseball players from this province playing pro ball? No, but there is a few dimes that make it, and Aiden Killshaw was awesome. Like, you talk about a 17-year-old catching in big games for the Saskatoon Berries. I think that just kind of speaks for itself. But yeah, Murdoch, Houston, the pitching staff, really good team top to bottom, and really happy for the Berries organization. Obviously, same ownership group as the Blades, so I have to be careful, because the Pats and Blades are big-time rivals.
Fired.
My heart is still broken from losing Game 7 in 2023. Bedard's last game as a Pat still hurts to this day, so I can't be too nice to them, but yeah, awesome to see, right?
Well, and the way that they've been able to launch a fresh franchise in this league, and in their 3rd season being in the WCBL, managed to pull off a league title. That's pretty incredible.
Yeah, and off the field, they're kind of a little edgy. Like, they try to be like the Savannah Bananas, but obviously not on the field. They do a lot of really cool promotions and stuff, and I know this was just year 1 with Brand Sports and Entertainment owning the Red Sox, but I know Bryce and the crew are super excited to get more innovative, and this was the first year with a video board screen, just like the Berries have. So for fans that love baseball and were able to come to Curry Field this year, I hope they enjoyed the game day experience, and hopefully we're able to kind of really step it up and push ourselves to another level next year, just like the Berries have done. But the difference the Berries were able to kind of start fresh with kind of a jersey uniform that not like color combinations that no one had ever seen before.
I remember everybody laughing when they announced they were going to call them the Berries. Now you see Berries gear everywhere because it was, it was kind of...
Yeah, the merch side is... Yeah,
some people were thinking, it's kind of, cutesy Saskatoon Berries. It's play on words. It worked.
My travel baseball team is called the Pinguinos, so what's wrong with that? What's wrong with being called the Berries?
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
Originally, I was going to call our team the Bananas.
That would have worked.
Yeah.
I mean, it's working for the Savannah Bananas.
Yeah.
I mean, and obviously those trends are even coming down or up here to Saskatchewan, right? I mean, we saw the Moose Jaw Miller Express having some fun with line dancing and singing Oasis and stuff like that. I know there's a rivalry there between Moose Jaw and Regina, so you don't need to comment on that.
Rivalry between Moose Jaw and Saskatoon as well. I mean, Saskatoon swept them in round 2.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
That was a good team as well, though.
they were the best team in the East, the East Division. And,
I'm a little biased. I still cheer for them. I'm from Moose Jaw, so I have to.
Yeah, it's a great league, Tegan. I was able to actually go down to Okotoks. I was there for the Okotoks Dogs Academy tournament with my team, and so we got to go to a game and stuff, and they do an awesome job, too. I've never been to Sylvan Lake. I heard they have an awesome ballpark as well. The Red Sox do a really good job as well on the field, off the field. I think the team is just growing, and, hopefully some more improvements in the next couple of years with Curry Field and stuff like that. I know a lot of fans are, knocking on wood and, praying for a ballpark in downtown Regina. So maybe one day.
It was a fun season. My only qualm is that I wish it was a bit longer. Because there's
you want it to be longer.
A little bit. Well, I know coming from your perspective, you're probably thinking, Tegan, stop talking right now.
So it's an interesting topic. Obviously, beautiful weather here in Regina in the month of August. It's still very nice right now.
Mm-hmm.
The unfortunate thing is that the summer ball players have to go back to school.
They got college to get back to
that.
A lot of times.
I would actually personally like less games, more weekend games, less weeknight games.
Okay.
Yeah.
I understand that it is tough because these players are usually sometimes coming up a little late, sometimes have to leave a little bit early, and that's why it's a best of 3 in the playoffs, right? Not a best of 5 or best
I
of
wouldn't
7.
mind a longer playoff series. Maybe start a bit earlier or stay at the same start time and play less games. Maybe start instead of starting the first week of August for playoffs or second week of August or at the end of that first week, start in like this last week of July. And especially, the Red Sox, had to...
There was a lot of doubleheaders.
So much. Yeah, see, that's another problem. The rain as well. But this was like a record year for rain, right?
Normally, we do not have nearly that amount of rain in June. Mm-hmm. It didn't even really feel like we had summer in June. Maybe that's why I wanted it to be a bit longer, because we just had so many of those rain-out games. But then we would have missed out on moments like, the Grand Slam walk-off home run and on Canada Day in that first game, right? That was pretty incredible. Yeah, Brady Bye.
Swift Current.
Local guy.
Yeah.
Right? It's those moments that you can't script. So I guess we'll take it for what it's worth. I won't write any letters to the commissioner. Unless you want to. I'll let you handle that.
I'm fine.
You're good. Okay.
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm worried about Western Hockey League right now.
Yeah, no, we're definitely getting into that time of year. I know I've taken up far too much of your time already, Dante.
Oh, no. Thank you so much,
I appreciate it. I'll always talk hockey and baseball with you, Dante. Come on.
Always a pleasure. Thanks so much for having me on.
Yeah, thank you for coming. And again, as he mentioned, next week, training camp starts for the Regina Pats, so make sure that you follow along on the Pats website as well as sportscage.com. And we'll, of course, have Dante back on the radio for play-by-play action as the season gets underway. Let's take a quick break, and we'll be back here in just a moment. It's the Sports Cage on the home of the Regina Pats, 620 CKRM and streaming at sportscage.com.
Have you seen the patio at PumpJack's Cathedral?
Seen it? I've practically moved in.
Do they at least charge you rent?
Only if I stop ordering food.
I don't blame you. Great food, daily food and drink specials.
30 beers on tap, including local favorites.
And there's no better place to catch the game with friends.
So what are we waiting for?
I'm waiting for this conversation to be over. Let's go.
On the corner of Albert and 13th, PumpJack's Cathedral Saloon and Steakhouse. Come early, stay late. The place where friends meet.
Winter in Saskatchewan tests everything, our patience, vehicles, and sometimes our bumpers. From icy parking lot dings to serious highway mishaps, choosing local matters. At Regina Motor Products Collision Center, we're Saskatchewan owned, run, and we drive these roads too. An SGI accredited full-service collision center working on all makes and models. Submit your SGI claim and book your appraisal. It's easy. When you need repairs you can trust, it's neighbors helping neighbors. Regina Motor Products Collision Center, south at Highways 1 and 6 Albert Street, rmpchevrolet.com.
The Roughriders season is here, and the biggest 50-50 in Saskatchewan is back. Last year's 50-50 raised over $3.3 million for amateur football in Saskatchewan, and we couldn't do it without you. Thank you, Rider Nation. This year, we have bigger loyalty and early bird prizes than ever before, not to mention those life-changing 50-50 jackpots. See all of the prizes and buy your tickets today at riders5050.ca, and never miss a chance to win when you sign up for the 50-50 Club.
Riders 50-50 is presented by ISC.
Lottery license LR260010.
If you've got a Steelcraft garage door, you've got a door with parts manufactured and assembled right here in Canada. A door with better insulation and seal, plus a warranty you're probably never going to use. And if you don't have a Steelcraft garage door, you should get one. Don't just hang a door, install a Steelcraft. Turn curb appeal into curb envy.
Steelcraft Door, Steelcraft Door, Steelcraft Door. We offer more.
Steel-craft.ca.
Text CKRM 306-936-6262. Powered by Prairie Land Rentals. From power tools to skid steers, they probably have what you need for your job. 600 Albert Street, where you deal with the owner. It's time for the Sports Ticker. Brought to you by Reliance Heath Water Heater Rentals. Rent a water heater and water softener starting at about $1.20 a day and get $400 when you switch to Reliance Heath.
You heard us talking about it before. The Jays are back at it in Major League Baseball action, taking on the Tampa Bay Rays in Florida. And first pitch is going to be going out here in about an hour's time. Jays have Soriano on the mound and going up against Tampa Bay's Martinez. Now, the Regina Sports Hall of Fame have announced their class of 2026. 6 individuals in a championship team are going to be going into the Hall. Danny Banda, Jan Stein, Lois Koss, Rod Schmidt, Malindale Isaac, as well as the 2006 Regina Squid men's water polo team. The induction ceremony will be happening this fall, October the 8th. And in the WNBA, you heard us talking about it earlier with Daniella Ponticelli. She's a play-by-play voice in the WNBA, and you might recognize her from being on this very station just a couple of years ago. But Caitlin Clark and the Fever are heading into Toronto for their first game north of the border, taking on the Tempo tonight, and it should be a good one as you have the Tempo looking to bounce back a little bit, coming off of a bit of a skid there. That is your Sports Ticker, brought to you by Reliance Group of Companies. And I do just want to quickly mention here one more time before we get into your sprinkle of the day, SaskTel Pick the Score. You can still get in on this today. It is a text in to win today, so just send it in your score prediction, and if you get it right, if you're the closest guest, you win some prizes. SaskTel Pick the Score, chance to win a $200 SaskTel gift card. Not to mention, we also have tickets to give away for the next Rider home game this Sunday, kickoff 5 o'clock from BC as the Riders take on the Lions. So text us your name as well to 306-936-6262 and get us those predictions. Okay, let's get into our sprinkle of the day here, Colson. It is brought to you by SportsSelect.com. All you have to do is go online to the website. You can make your picks online, generate the QR code, go to your local Lotto Spot retailer, 100% legal. I'm wondering if we look at this Tempo game tonight, Colson.
I thought we were going to look Blue Jays too. But,
we could do both. Yeah. We got the time. Yeah, we got the time. So why don't we start with the Toronto Blue Jays? Okay, so
a little closer than I thought it would be.
A little bit closer too, 255 to 220. Now, I would... this is in Tampa, so I think I'm going to take Tampa Bay on this one.
Do we pull a Barney and play the tie? That's a one run game or less. Which, if it's...
I don't like the tie. Yeah, because it's 0.5. I don't like the tie on this one. I think I got to take Tampa to win this one if I'm going to sprinkle on it. Cha-ching. Okay. So I would take, yes, Tampa Bay Rays tonight. Do you want to look at any other MLB games tonight, or what would you take on here?
I was going to... Honestly, I was thinking the under if I was going to take anything, but I don't baseball very much at all. So I have no clue. I'm just looking at that, just going, yeah, the under looks fun.
Yeah, 7.5 is the over-under on that game tonight, by the way.
Now, let's see if we can find some basketball.
Okay, so if we're looking at futures, by the way, you can always look ahead into this week in the CFL if you were looking to maybe do a little CFL sprinkle action. But as we shift gears over to the WNBA...
That's not a friendly line at all.
Oh, boy. Okay, well, we know who the favorite is. The Fever, certainly the favorite.
Paying 130 or 130. Toronto paying 7.05.
Yeah.
Ouch.
You know what, though? Here's the thing. It's a sold-out crowd.
Yeah.
It is the first time the Fever are going to be in Toronto. You got some key players back for the Tempo.
Yeah.
We learned all of this from Daniella. See, we're helping. We're helping here. If you were to do a little sprinkle on the Toronto Tempo, it would pay handsomely.
It would. But then they need to win outright. Are we thinking they can at least cover?
I would 10.5. Yeah, I'd take them to cover. Maybe it's going to be a tight one.
While we're at it, I'm just going to say under 190. Because every other over-under is at 170
or 177.
180 maybe. So, yeah, under 190.5.
Yeah, I would take the under, and I would take, the Tempo to cover.
Because it's 10.5. That's a big
spread. That's almost offensive.
I mean,
they have been.
The win-loss record of these teams is flipped.
Yeah.
So,
but at home, you're playing Caitlin Clark, which, again, goes against them. But still, that is how I'm going to sprinkle today. You can come at me. Let me know if you disagree. You probably do. I would if I were you. Text us 306-936-6262 on the Prairie Land Rentals text line. We'll get to some more of those text messages here in just a little bit, but first we do have to get to the news, so we should probably take a quick break. This is the Sportscage, and it's on the home of local sports, 620 CKRM, and streaming at sportscage.com.
Plan for success in 2027 with help from the Co-op Grow team. With the latest on-farm technology, our agronomists will work with you to gather and interpret soil samples, analyze data, and gain more insight into your fields. We offer local expertise and trusted advice to help you plan your inputs and prepare for the unexpected. Get ready to make data-driven decisions with Co-op Ag Zone Field. Make a successful 2027 crop plan to meet your field's potential. Talk to your Co-op Grow team today.
Sun's out, top down, pedal to the metal with the wind in your hair. And hey, I like your summer tires.
Summer tires?
Yeah, some are cracked, some are bald, all need replacing. Let Quality Tire make sure your tires are road trip ready so you can have peace of mind as you head off to your first or next summer adventure.
Next stop, Quality Tire.
Quality Tire, trusted for the road ahead, with 9 locations across Saskatchewan.
QualityTire.ca. Calling all Rider fans. The Roughrider and Children's Hospital Foundation's lottery bonus deadline is this Friday. Win the Champions Edition bonus prize, a 2026 Cadillac Escalade and Rider season tickets, or choose $130,000 cash. Plus, there are over 1,000 more prizes, including your best chance to win $1 million. Don't miss out. Bonus deadline is this Friday. Play for Sask Kids. Get your tickets at riderschildrenslottery.ca. Lottery license LR260015. Please play responsibly.
Hello, Clarice.
It's Brittany.
Have the lambs stopped screaming?
Those aren't lambs. That's my garage door. I don't know why it's making that sound.
I hope you called Busy Bee Doors. They can fix or replace any commercial or garage door.
I did, and?
Brittany? Paul from Busy Bee. What's with the old guy on the dolly?
Ugh, ignore him.
I do wish we could chat longer, but...
Busy Bee Doors, the garage door specialists.
From the towers to the tractors, country's greatest hits. 620 CKRM, a Harvard media station.
It's 4 p.m. A good afternoon, mainly sunny and 23 degrees in Regina. I'm Will Manzik from the SAS Today newsroom with 620 CKRM News. Regina's executive committee is set to consider a plan to acquire land needed for the proposed widening of Saskatchewan Drive. The city wants to purchase 2704 Saskatchewan Drive to support road, sidewalk, and utility improvements. Officials are negotiating with the property owners, but no agreement has been reached. If talks fail, the city could use the Municipal Expropriation Act to acquire the land. The Saskatchewan Drive widening was approved in 2017, with project funding approved in 2022 and additional money added in 2023. The latest tariff timer is nearing zero as Canadian businesses brace for another round of sweeping tariffs. The 50% tariffs on close to $20 billion worth of Canadian goods goes into effect at 10:01 p.m. local time, 12:01 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's still unclear if these tariffs will actually go into effect or if a deal on a temporary pause could be made. Prime Minister Mark Carney and U.S. President Donald Trump spoke yesterday and could still speak again today. Trade representatives from both sides are still expected to meet today as well. Saskatchewan recorded the second highest growth in housing starts among Canadian provinces, rising 23.9% from July of last year to July of this year. Single-family housing starts increased 22.8%, while multiple unit starts rose 24.5%. The province also posted record economic growth in 2025, with real GDP reaching $85.4 billion, up 2.2%, and private capital investment increased 12% to $13.6. Regina will see real-life superheroes take to the skies on Saturday all in support of Saskatchewan families living with disabilities. The Easter Seals Drop Zone will have participants rappelling 21 stories, or about 260 feet down Hill Center Tower 2. Each participant must raise at least $1,000 for Saskability's programs, including Camp Easter Seal, the province's only fully accessible summer camp. Erica Sweeney explained why she is taking part.
Like, I myself am not personally affected by disability. I have many people in my life who are, and I understand how important it can be to have these accessible spaces for people.
The event has raised more than $2 million in Regina since 2007. Spectators can watch for free downtown starting at 8 a.m. above Victoria Park. That's 620 CKRM News. Read more stories from around your community and around the province at sastoday.ca and 620ckrm.com.
Weather for Next Gen Coatings. Spray coatings for truck bed liners, rocker panels, and more. Same company, new name. 1865 McCarra Street, Regina. Sunny skies this afternoon and a high of 24. Tonight, we're going to be dropping to 11 degrees and mostly clear skies. For tomorrow and for Thursday, highs of 26 degrees and mostly sunny skies. Friday, sunshine, high of 25. And then Saturday, mostly sunny and a high of 26. Right now in downtown Regina, it's 23 degrees with sunshine and nice and calm.
For over 40 years, you've known them as Regina's trusted vehicle protection specialists. Now they're introducing the next gen of coatings. New name, new level of protection. They're now Next Gen Coatings. 3 generations of their family have served your family, and that hasn't changed. Same owners, same commitment, ready for the next gen of truck beds, rocker panels, trailers, bumpers, and running boards. The company hasn't changed, just the name. Next Gen Coatings. 1865 McCarra Street. The next gen starts now.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents The Sportscage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Sask Lotteries, bringing communities together. Sask Lottery products fund over 12,000 sports, culture, and recreation groups across Saskatchewan. Be part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The Sportscage. Streaming at sportscage.com, our YouTube channel, and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
It's Tegan Whitco and Colson Schultz with you on your Tuesday installment of the Sports Cage for Sask Lotteries. Now, if you missed any parts of the show so far, you can always go back and listen in podcast form, as well as on our YouTube stream, which you can join in the conversation there as well. We are streaming at sportscage.com and on 620 CKRM. Join in the conversation as well on the Prairie Land Rentals text line. We were, earlier in the show, we spoke with Daniella Ponticelli, WNBA play-by-play voice. And she was teeing up this impressive game tonight. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Now, yes, the odds are a little lopsided when you look at the Toronto Tempo taking on Caitlin Clark and the Fever. But still, I might take a little sprinkle action on that. You never know what's going to happen. One of the text messages here, if the game is a blowout, they'll take out Caitlin Clark. Yeah, I would anticipate that. But we also did get another message here from Dean. I don't watch a lot of WNBA, and I'm not the kind of sports fan who would go to a game just to see one star player, but I would totally go see the Fever with Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham play in Toronto. Dean in Regina. That feels like an experience worth the price of admission. And Daniela was also mentioning to us, that is a completely sold out game. There were people there, fans in attendance, waiting to get in 4 hours before the doors open. If that just gives you kind of an indication of how much Caitlin Clark means to this league and how much the WNBA has been exploding. And it's been so fun to watch. But yes, you can go back and listen to our chat with Daniela as we get closer and closer to tip-off in that game. Should be just after 5 o'clock local time. And of course, all of our guests throughout the afternoon joining us on the Western Pizza guest hotline with perfect pizza, generous amount of toppings, and all the Greek favorites you'll love. We did also have Dante de Caria join us in the first hour there. You can go back and listen as we talk all things Regina Pats 1 week out from training camp beginning. And of course, there's lots of baseball talk in there as well, from the MLB to the WCMBL, or WCBL, pardon me. They used to call it that. I'm going back a decade, apparently. And then, of course, even the 13U Team Sask games that are going to be taking place up in Saskatoon this weekend. But you can always go back and listen. In the meantime, we do need to head out on that Western Pizza guest hotline and chat with our buddy Arash Madani.
It's time to go coast to coast with Arash Madani for Smart Investing Solutions. Be smart with your money. Call Brian Gawley at Smart Investing Solutions, 546-2533.
Arash Madani, lots to get to today. I think we should probably start with some good news here when it comes to Canadian football. Canada, world champions women's flag football after beating the United States, which feels pretty sweet for Canadian football fans here. Gold in Germany. So, Arash, this is about as big as it gets when it comes to flag football here in Canada. What did you make of the women's performance, and how significant is this of an achievement? Put it into words.
I mean, Tegan, world champions, gold medal at the World Championships, 2 years away from flag football becoming an Olympic sport. This is remarkable. And you think about kind of where this is all headed. Flag football is one of the fastest growing sports in North America right now. It has the backing of, NFL resources, etc. And for Canada, kind of feels like this is the start of something. To emerge as the world power at World Championships is pretty remarkable. So kind of like step one, check, and now begins this 2-year countdown to LA, where suddenly there are going to be a lot of people wondering, what are they doing up there with flag in Canada? It's a pretty neat thing. It's a pretty neat thing going.
We got it going on here in Canada as well. It's not just the women's, right? I mean, they punched their ticket to the Olympics. So did the men. So that's a pretty incredible feat for the gentlemen who are going to be off to LA as well. What does it say about the state of flag football in Canada now that both programs are Olympic bound?
I mean, you have two world-class coaches coaching them. The fact that this is I look at this men's team, for instance, Tegan, and just as Canadians, we sometimes have this inferiority complex of, they, air quote, just play at U Sports. So I actually went through the senior men's flag football team roster. Okay, I already knew Michael O'Connor was the quarterback who won a Vanier at UBC, played a few seasons in the CFL. We knew about Anthony Auclair, the tight end who went to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, won a Super Bowl with Brady and Gronk. But then, Marc-Antoine Dequoy for the CFL fans, who's a terrific free safety for the Alouettes all those years. But then you start counting it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 dudes on this roster are all U Sports players. And I really mean this sincerely. I don't know by the summer of 28 how many pro guys are going to unseat them on this flag team, because it's an entirely different sport. There's, like what we say about football, it's about blocking and tackling. Flag football doesn't have blocking or tackling. So it's totally different. It's homegrown dudes who played, their grassroots football here and stayed at home, and now they're on the medal podium at World Championships and going to the Olympics.
I might be looking a little too far ahead here, Arash, but as I look at this roster heading into qualifications now for the 2028 Olympics in LA, there's a lot of CFL players currently who are on rosters who are, maybe dabbling with the concept of maybe trying out for the Canadian team. I think about a guy like Nathan Rourke. Do you think those guys are looking over their shoulders right now on the men's side thinking, my job is vulnerable?
Maybe, but I think there's very few on CFL rosters today that could come in and win a job on that flag national team. And like Rourke's one of them. And look, there's only one quarterback, on the field of play at once. If Trey Ford's going to enter this conversation, is he going to go play receiver? Is he willing to do that? And then you're the backup quarterback too and have specific packages for them. It's funny, Marc-Antoine Dequoy, he's long, etc. He's a terrific pass rusher too. The need of having a 285-pound pass rusher, a big, dude, what we're used to on a defensive line, just doesn't exist in flag. And I think that unless you're going to be working on this sport in addition to your day job, it's going to be hard to make that transition right away and then go compete at the Olympics against people who do this all the time.
So maybe we should shift gears here, Arash, to the CFL.
Sure.
And we can talk a little bit about Ottawa making a pretty significant change yesterday with the news breaking that they're bringing in a new president, right? I mean, it's a team that's 0-9. I think they've lost, 15 straight going back to the 2025 season, and they seem to be searching for direction. What do you make of the move, and what needs to happen in the organization?
I appreciate that Adrian fell on the sword as team president. I guess what they're looking for is now a team president who is going to oversee football and knows football too. So you're going to have somebody who's going to be looking after free agency, the draft, the salary cap, the roster, and the entire business side of the operation where you haven't sold many tickets because your team's been so dreadful, and connecting with the community and doing all those things. It's a massive job where I don't know how many people have the qualifications to do that anywhere. So at some point, something's going to, there's 24 hours in a day. Something's going to be lacking at something along the way. I get what they're saying. Our structure hasn't worked. What we've been trying to do isn't working. We need to change things up. All of that's fine. That's a team that's lost a lot of games, Tegan, and they've also lost a lot of money. And for now, Roger Greenberg, bless him, the owner, has been willing to cover the losses. My apprehension about all of this is that they're looking for a silver bullet, like one thing to fall out of the sky to solve all their problems with a new team president. I think they thought they had all their problems solved when they signed Drew Brown in free agency. Then they thought they had all their problems solved when they brought Dinwiddie in as head coach and GM because he'd won it in a couple of other places. Well, not only has it not worked on the football side, it hasn't worked on the attendance side. And even if you go back 2-3 years when they were winning some games at home, they weren't getting attendance. So I don't know what they're going to do. I just don't know who fulfills all the things needed in this job description.
And it's unfortunate, I find right now, that they are kind of becoming the butt of the joke, and I don't necessarily think that's fair, but they're not helping themselves out on the field here either, right? All of their issues are not happening within the front office, Arash. They seem to be finding themselves in different trouble every week. What is going on the field that you're dissecting?
So many things. First of all, let's just get this one thing clear, and I'm sure that none of your listeners or viewers are going to be upset when I say this. Winnipeg's trash. And Ottawa had every opportunity to win that game. The Blue Bombers are just fooling themselves right now. But, there's 3 plays in this game, and I sent them to Colson, that I think just absolutely illustrates just the dumpster fire that they are in terms of not being able to get out of their own way. Simple little screen, bobbled 3 times. Was it Cade McDonald or something? And then into the hands of a Winnipeg defender, picked off. Okay. Bleep happens. Not long after, wide open, is Justin Hardy. And it goes off the goalpost. And then you have a tight end who you've just brought in over the bye week, etc., who has a whole bunch of daylight going down the middle of the field. Nobody's around him. Within a postal code. Nobody's in the picture. And he, trips over the 45-yard line all on its own, and I don't know if it's an Achilles, a knee, a what, and he just goes down. That could have been a touchdown. there's execution things, there's fundamental things, the roster's not very good, etc. But this is just like, it's gotten to the point where there's some bad juju, voodoo, all of the above around this team that you're saying to yourself, man, what's it going to take for like just something to go right? Because for the last year and a half, everything seems to have gone wrong.
Let's be honest, it's kind of hard to watch at times.
Right.
Saskatchewan Roughrider fans had a hard one. Tough pill to swallow this weekend as well. So in, Hamilton over the weekend, pretty painful. Won 19-10 going into the fourth quarter at Arash. Trey Ford comes in, and the Ticats completely flip the game. That fourth quarter looked totally different. What did you make of that? What was the downfall of the Riders last week on the road?
Just a thud of a performance. Just a dud. Just over the course of an 18-game season, these things are going to happen. Our tendency is to look into so many things and dissect and whatever. It's a bad loss. It's a horrible fourth quarter. It's a massive opportunity flushed down the toilet. It was last Tuesday, Tegan. I told Barney this was the must-win game of the season because it just puts you in such a favorable, advantageous standings position against a team without a quarterback. This can really kind of help elevate you, especially now that the BC Lions are coming. It's a bad day to have a bad day. And, back in the old days, when there used to kind of be rules in the NCAA, now there's not. Sometimes they would, when they would impose sanctions on a team for cheating, they would say there was a lack of institutional control. It felt like in that fourth quarter, whoever was wearing green just kind of lost control. It was it was just crap. And so now comes, all right, now what do we do? And I do believe this, though. All that said, and this isn't an excuse, to me, this is actually problematic. The injuries are starting to now, play a role, and they're kind of rearing their ugly head. And you need guys to get back because it's hard enough to win, but it's hard enough to win with like backups all over the place and dudes off the couch coming in. This is now going to be a real grind over the next few weeks. Good news is you got 2 against Winnipeg coming up, but it's
you got BC before that though, Arash, and they're on a bit of a heater right now.
The Lions are for real, Rourke's back, and now I just wonder, and I get that American receiver isn't really the thing, but like, do you just go pay Geno Lewis just to try and get another weapon for Trevor? And how much can that help doing what you want to do? I think that's a real legitimate conversation to be having.
Well, I'll be the first one to admit it, Arash. When we saw Keyshawn Johnson get nicked up, or maybe he was cramping, I'm no medical professional. I don't know what was happening there in that game against Hamilton, but that was the first thing that came to mind. Where's Geno Lewis?
Yeah.
Do we bring him in at this point, right? Because that receiving core has been banged up this season.
Yes. And it started with one of your first, before the season began, with the allegations and the suspension around one of your top Canadian players, and admire the decision to release him. And then from there, you didn't expect Emelis, you didn't expect Schaefer Baker, and I'm a big Tavon Campbell fan. Like I think, I know we're talking the defense side of the ball, but like, you can't just keep losing Canadians all over the place and expect there not to be ramifications for it. So let's see, Tegan. Let's see.
Buckle up for this Sunday. What are you going to be watching for, Arash?
I'm going to be interested to see what Mace has in store for Rourke. What have they not shown yet on film that they think they can get to the quarterback, hit the quarterback, etc., and bring different kinds of pressures and different kinds of looks to disguise and ultimately try and make him think he's seeing something that he's not. So football is won at the line of scrimmage. I get that, it's all about throwing the ball, receivers, touchdowns, whatever, but it's won at the point of attack. And with Mace and Micah, what are and Josh Bell, what are they going to do around Nathan Rourke? That's what I'm looking for.
You got two teams hungry for a win heading into this weekend, that's for sure. So I know I'm looking forward to the game. Arash, we've taken up too much of your time already, but we appreciate it as always.
Great to see you, pal.
You too, buddy. Coast to Coast with Arash Madani for Smart Investing Solutions. Be smart with your money. Call Brian Golly at Smart Investing Solutions, 546-2533. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back on the other side. This is the 620 CKRM Rider Broadcast Network along with the Sportscage on 620 CKRM as well.
What's going on in the markets? When is the right time to invest? What should you do with your money today? When Linda had questions, she talked to Brian Golly.
He's always well prepared and has answers for us. We take it as gospel, and he's led us down the right path so far.
You don't have to plan your financial future alone. Call Brian Golly of Smart Investing Solutions, 306-546-2533.
We would recommend Brian anytime, and we would recommend him to anybody.
Gordon tells us why he called Brian Golly of Smart Investing Solutions.
Well, I too heard Brian's commercial on CKRM, and at the time I was just retiring, so I was looking for a financial advisor. I would recommend my family, friends, or anybody to contact Brian. He's a super knowledgeable fella.
Don't guess with your money. Call Brian at 306-546-2533. SmartInvestingSolutions.ca.
Get it hot and get it fast. Western Pizza.
What should I make for supper tonight? Burgers? Nah. Pasta? Out of sauce. Tacos? I don't need groceries. Maybe I could actually cook? Yeah, let's not get carried away.
Let Western Pizza handle it with mouth-watering pepperoni, smoky ham, crispy bacon, loads of melty cheese, and don't forget the ribs, lasagna, or delicious souvlaki on the side. Dine in or take out today.
Get it hot and get it fast. Western Pizza.
The Sportscage Clutch Performer for Keln Solar. Thinking about saving money by using solar power? Keln Solar is a local family company that can put solar panels on your home, business, or farm. KelnSolar.com.
Time for your Clutch Performers with Tegan and Colson. I only brought one today, which is a shocker. Normally on Mondays, I have 3 full days worth of sporting events that I can pick from. But today, I figured, you know what? Let's keep it clean. Let's keep it simple.
It is Tuesday, so...
Exactly.
You used them all up yesterday, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I didn't plan out for that very well, did I? This one is worth bringing up solo, though, Colson. Okay.
All right.
The Regina Trappers Baseball Club. This Thursday, they're going to be going to New Brunswick. Miramichi? New Brunswick? I say with a question mark because I've never been there and I might be butchering the pronunciation of that location. New Brunswick, regardless, they're going to be representing Saskatchewan at the 2026 National Baseball Championship. So they're on the national stage. That's pretty cool.
There we go.
And they hosted the Men's National Championship here in Regina last year.
Yeah, it was a fun time.
It was a really good event and really well put together. So, kudos, Clutch Performer, Regina Trappers Baseball Club.
Nice. I'm going to give mine to... familiar name to Canadian hockey fans. Sidney Crosby, it's been reported that he's working on a 1 to 2 year extension with the Pittsburgh Penguins. Of course, team friendly. And I'm just like, Sidney Crosby doing Sidney Crosby things, right? Mm-hmm. So we'll give him a clutch for that. But then that was reported by Josh Yobe, who? Yoey? I'm not going to get it right. Who is the Penguins beat reporter for The Athletic. And I also saw earlier this weekend, he made a post back when the schedule came out, that on March 25th, the Penguins will be playing New Jersey at home. And as of that day, Sidney Crosby will have spent more time as the Penguins captain than time not in his life.
Oh.
Which is ridiculous. So, like...
That just tells you how long he's been in the game, and he's not even that old.
No, and how long he's been, like, elite, both as a player and as a leader.
Yeah.
So, yeah, because it happens when the captain who's been the captain for 5-10 years, hey, here's the young up-and-coming star, we're going to pass it off to him, right? Hand off the sea kind of thing.
Have they really had a franchise player like that in Pittsburgh?
They haven't, partly because they've been good enough not to be bad to get a good player.
Yeah.
So
that's fair. I mean, but it does put his career in perspective because that golden goal took place in what, 2010?
Yeah, that was in like his, third season?
Very
in
early
the NHL?
on. Very early on. So, I mean, yeah, when you put that into perspective, I mean...
That's 16 years ago.
Yeah.
He could have been in 5 other Olympics since then, but...
You know what this means, Colson? That just means we're getting old.
Yeah.
That's exactly what that is.
That is what it is. So
I do like that. Speaking of up-and-comers, Macklin Celebrini.
Oh.
Did you see that? His one-of-a-kind rookie card sold for $1.28 million American. So that would be what, like $3 million Canadian? It was originally pulled from a pack worth around $15 and now holds the highest record for the public sale of any non-Wayne Gretzky hockey card.
The fact that we have to do the non-Wayne Gretzky in there.
Well, I mean, he's the great one.
Yeah.
You can't hold a candle to that.
I am really curious to see what Macklin Celebrini turns into, because he's got a great start, both with his personality, his work ethic, and then playing ability. Like, he's got a great start here. So really hopeful he can be another generational player.
San Jose just needs some defense.
I mean, or you just take a play out of the Calgary Stampeders playbook and score 40 points, then you won't lose.
No, yeah, sure. Let's go with that. Since you brought up CFL, let's get to that in a second here. I should mention Clutch Performer, brought to you by Keln Solar. They can help with your livestock operations. Book now for your solar quotes for your home, farm, or cabin. Save money with the local company, Keln Solar in Lumsden. Colson, you and I were talking a little bit off air here, and I just punched up 3downnation.com and saw Captain Obvious Ryan Dinwiddie, Ottawa Redblacks ownership supportive but not happy with results. So that's what they're telling the media right now from OSEG.
Yeah, I could have told you that.
No other changes imminent, though.
I couldn't have told you that. That's news.
That's new news on 3Down Nation, courtesy of John Hodge.
There we go. While you and Arash were talking about Ottawa's struggles there, I was trying to find the data. I didn't have it quite ready yet. But so Ottawa is 0-15, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll put the video up on the stream, but does everybody remember last year when the Argonauts walked off the Elks with that field goal, and Ryan Dinwiddie here runs down the sidelines, kicking and yelling, happy with the walk-off, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think there was a lot of penalties and stuff that came out of that too, and part of the reason why we don't have benches on the same sideline anymore. Anyways, that was the last game that Ryan Dinwiddie has won as a head coach. That was 14 games ago. So the Red Blacks are 0-15, and Ryan Dinwiddie is 0-14 in his last 14 games.
Man.
So I don't know. I'm not saying, like, again, the guy's got 2 Grey Cups a year apart, right? So he knows how to win. He knows how to coach winning football, but has something just fallen off here? Is he missing a foundational piece that was helping at the beginning and he's forgetting to include now? I don't know. Like, something's just gone off the rocker.
And it's tough because you can't put it all on Dinwiddie either. It's a whole, like, as Arash and I were talking about that. Yeah, he brought up a good point. You know, it's everything right now. Nothing's clicking, unfortunately.
Yep.
And we hate to see it because next year in 2027, that's the only team that doesn't make the playoffs. And it's obvious who that would be this year if that new playoff format was instilled, right?
Yeah. There's no changing that at this point because they need to win, I think it's at least 5 games to get above anybody right now. And we're
their schedule
over halfway through the season. Their schedule's interesting. I remember that.
Because didn't they have a bunch of Friday night games?
Yeah, they have the last 3 Friday night games, which I'm like, ooh, primetime TV, Ottawa Red Blacks. That's what it is.
I mean, they did build the schedule before the Grey Cup took place last year.
They're playing Montreal this Thursday.
Which is tough.
Good luck. And then they host BC.
Which, again, could be tough with
BC on the rise, yeah. Then they have a bye over the Labor Day weekend. Then they play in Toronto and then in Calgary. And then host Calgary, host Hamilton, play in BC, host Toronto, and then to wrap up the season, they play in Hamilton.
So the silver lining is there's not a... Oh, no, there's a lot of West Division matchups in there.
They play Hamilton twice.
Yeah.
Which, if Bo is still out and Hamilton's still figuring things out, They have a shot there.
Yeah.
Yeah. we just have to wait and see. Oh, boy.
I know. It's unfortunate. It really is. But who knows? Who knows? Anything can happen in the CFL. Maybe they surprise us all and something crazy happens this weekend against Montreal.
Technically speaking, the odds are they're going to win at some point, but still. Yeah. With the way things keep falling apart for them, it's hard to believe at the same time. So, well, and again, I want to see them win. I don't want to see them go completely winless.
No. That's just not good for the league either.
Yeah.
Because that's just a very negative perception.
Like right now, the Atlantic Schooners are higher in the standings than them. Just saying. Just saying.
And again, don't throw stones in glass houses. I mean, the Riders had a pretty ugly finish to their game in Hamilton over the weekend as well, a team that they should have beaten.
Yeah, but that's just one game, unfortunately. Right?
Yeah.
Like, we've had a couple bad games this year. Ottawa's had 9.
Yep.
So
we're only midway through the season. You never know what's going to happen. And I should mention Saskatchewan Roughrider 50-50 real quick here. If you haven't got in on the early bird prize for this week yet, you should probably do that. Go to riders5050.ca. The current early bird prize, a Sparkling Hill getaway for 2. Return flights from Saskatchewan to Kelowna. Nice little getaway. 2 nights at the Sparkling Hill Resort. And a couples escape package with a daily dinner and a spa credit. Now, if you don't want to take the trip, that's cool. You can take the money instead. $5,000 in cash money. Plus, there's also that jackpot that obviously you're buying 50-50 tickets for. So go get signed up if you want to become a member here. Riders5050.ca. We are going to take a quick break. Still to come, more Saskatchewan Roughrider and CFL talk. We will have the one and only Rob Vanstone joining us here in just a moment. We'll be back. This is the Sportscage, and it's on the home of Rider Nation, 620 CKRM, and streaming at sportscage.com.
The Roughriders season is here, and the biggest 50-50 in Saskatchewan is back. Last year's 50-50 raised over $3.3 million for amateur football in Saskatchewan, and we couldn't do it without you. Thank you, Rider Nation. This year, we have bigger loyalty and early bird prizes than ever before, not to mention those life-changing 50-50 jackpots. See all of the prizes and buy your tickets today at riders5050.ca, and never miss a chance to win when you sign up for the 50-50 Club.
Riders 50-50 is presented by ISC.
Lottery license LR260010.
You've always wanted good tires, even back when you had your Diamondback or Kuwahara BMX, taking it off totally rad jumps with your buddies. Now your tires are for your family's safety, which is also rad. Rad drivers go to your local Cooper tire dealer. They carry Cooper Cobra Instinct tires. They bring your car to a shorter stop on wet roads and have decisive maneuvering and sporty performance. Visit your local Cooper tire dealer and ask for Cooper Cobra Instinct tires.
Great coaches make great calls. And at home, you're in control of the game. Add SaskTel TV to your lineup and enjoy popular channels, including sports in stunning 4K for as low as $40 a month. So, what do you say, Coach? Ready to add in the difference maker? Visit SaskTel.com/make-the-call to learn more. Conditions apply.
Welcome back to Sportscage. Missed any part of the show? Check out the podcast powered by Freeze Tolman at 620CKRM.com and Sportscage.com.
Welcome back to the Sportscage. Appreciate you taking the time here on this Tuesday. The show is brought to you by Sask Lotteries. I'm Tegan Whitco with Colson Schultz, filling in for Barney today. And if you want to go back and listen to any part of the show, you can do that. Daniella Ponticelli, play-by-play with the WNBA, teed up that big game in Toronto tonight with Caitlin Clark coming north of the border for her first time ever. We also had an opportunity to catch up with Arash Madani. I mean, we had Dante to Caria swing by, tee up the Pats training camp that's going to be taking place next week. We talked some ball as well. And still to come this afternoon, we will dive a little deeper into the Regina Sports Hall of Fame inductee announcement that took place earlier this afternoon. And Glen Suitor will join us after 5 o'clock. First, I do want to bring in our next guest, Western Pizza Guest Hotline, a guy that we love to have on the show, always brings very unique insight. Mr. Rob Vanstone, Saskatchewan Roughrider, historian and senior journalist. Thank you for taking the time, Rob. I do kind of wish you were in studio, though, so I could love up your dog, Candy.
Yeah, I apologize for the lack of Candy chaos in the studio today. I know the program is, or at least this segment is severely diminished without the canine content. So I'll try and muddle through. I'll bark a couple of times if you think that would enhance the segment. So
give us the proper ambiance. That's all we're asking.
At my age, it might be ambulance.
Oh, gosh. Well, Rob, let's throw this back to the weekend, shall we? I mean, it was a tough loss for Saskatchewan Roughrider fans. And I know that you did a piece. We don't need to talk about the loss right off the hop here, but I know you did a piece that pointed out Harrison Frost becoming the 396th quarterback to throw a pass against the Riders in the post-Second World War era, if I'm reading that right. So, I mean, you combed through how many numbers for this article? How many names in this article? What names stood out to you?
I found, it's Damon Allen. I was curious who'd started the most against the Roughriders, who'd played the most against the Roughriders. And to no one's surprise, Damon Allen led that list with 49. Henry Burris, Anthony Cavillo, part of a group at 35. I just thought, okay, Harrison Frost is starting here or has played in that game. How many quarterbacks have there been? And once I dive into those rabbit holes, I'm pretty unrelenting as far as trying to find answers. And 396 quarterbacks later, here we are. It's the nerd in me that comes through in those situations.
I don't even know how your brain works that way, Rob, for you to even think about, looking up those numbers. It's actually quite entertaining because I know I love the pieces that you put up at the Saskatchewan Roughrider website. So we appreciate it. You're not the only nerd, okay?
Well, hopefully there's at least 396 of them. Maybe the quarterbacks themselves will be interested. It was interesting to me that there's 100 and some who have only played against the Roughriders once. One of them was Ron Lancaster, and really? So you're going through that whole list of one, and then there's Ronnie right in the middle of that list. He was with the Ottawa Roughriders for 3 years, 1960 to 1962. 1960, there wasn't interlocking play, so that game couldn't happen unless the Roughriders played in the Grey Cup. Ottawa did play in the Grey Cup that year and won. They beat Edmonton. Ronnie played a little in that game, but Russ Jackson got most of the starts. And then 1961, Ottawa and Roughriders played, but Russ Jackson handled all the quarterbacking. 1962, Russ Jackson started. Ronnie played a little bit for Ottawa that day, went 3 for 5. And then in 1963, Ronnie was traded to Saskatchewan on July 29th. And it's odd, too. Russ Jackson only played 10 games against Saskatchewan. You look at a lot of quarterbacks now, regardless of division, they would have played a lot more if they had a career the duration of Russ Jackson's. But because the West and East teams only played once per year for most of Russ's career, you didn't get a real chance to see Russ Jackson play a great deal, which is only a handful of times at Taylor Field, which is too bad.
Well, it's probably a little bit more of a pain to travel.
I'm young enough to say that. What's that?
I said it was probably a little bit more of a pain to travel in those days.
I can't imagine what the travel would have been like in those days. They were beyond trains, but I'm not sure much beyond propellers. And so there would have been some interesting plane trips, I'm sure. The 66 Grey Cup was interesting because there was an airline strike. And the Roughriders were able to charter a plane and get out to Vancouver without too much difficulty. But Ottawa had a bit of a challenge in getting to Vancouver for that game. So I think they bussed somewhere to the States and then flew to Seattle and then bussed up to, I can't remember the exact route, so I shouldn't even quote locations, but it was like bus ride, plane ride, and then a bus ride from Seattle to Vancouver. So that was a bit of a ordeal for them.
Rob, it's amazing to me how much of that information that you can retain in your brain, so much history of this team. I did want to ask, because I had an opportunity, I'm not sure if you're familiar with him, but Lance Hakowich has the Rider Room here in town, and we did a feature piece with
amazing.
him. It's incredible the amount of memorabilia that they have in their collection, the Hakowiches. What's the coolest piece of memorabilia you have from the Riders?
I will always love this one. A great friend of mine, Phyllis Schwann, her husband, Dr. Paul Schwann, was one of the Roughriders team physicians in 1966 and during the 60s, and they were on the trip with the Riders to and from the Grey Cup. They were on the team plane. So Phyllis had 2 copies of the 1966 game program, and she got all the players to sign them on the flight back in green ink. And she kept one for herself, as she should have. And when I wrote a book on the 66 Roughrider, she gave me the other one. So, having a 66 Grey Cup program by itself is pretty cool, but then to have it signed by everybody the day after they won the game, I absolutely treasure that and treasure the memory of Phyllis. What an absolutely wonderful lady she was.
That's such a cool piece of history to have. Wow.
Yeah, I love that one. I have little showings every now and then, and next time I'm in studio, I'll bring it in. It's something I like. I love playing show and tell with that one. It's just really, really cool. It's it's a celebration of a wonderful person. Phyllis Schwann, was she a beautiful person?
Oh, that's incredible. Please do bring it in. Maybe don't let me touch it, though, because I'm scared I'm going to break it or something. But so when you look into, I know you don't really have a crystal ball. You can't look into the future, but we're only midway through the season as well. When you remove yourself from the 2026 Saskatchewan Roughrider season, what do you think people are going to remember most about this group in particular?
I think you're starting to see its closeness that rivals the 2025 team. And the bar is set so high, because when the season ended last year, it was really bittersweet for a lot of the players, because they just like being around each other so much, and they just won a Grey Cup, and all of a sudden everybody's dispersing throughout North America, and one case to Australia. So it was tough for them. They kind of wanted if they'd been a musical group, they would have been playing encores for about 3 weeks. And you're starting to see that team galvanize that way. And there's quite a significant turnover from this year to last. And each team has its own chemistry and its own identity. But when the Roughriders beat Ottawa on August 7th, I think you just saw, with so much adversity in terms of injuries and everything, and you could just feel it crystallizing, because in situations like that, it's one thing to say everybody's role is important, but then when it's demonstrated and the team has to go use its depth to such a degree and then come through it, I think it underlines what the coaches and management are saying, that everyone's role is important, and you might be, the third receiver on the depth chart in June and starting in August. And then when those players contribute as they have, I think that fosters that kind of closeness. I think that's. I haven't talked to any of the players about that. So this is just a feel that I get, that they're able to rekindle some of that camaraderie, or a lot of that camaraderie that was so invaluable last year and played such a key role in how the season culminated.
And Rob, I know it's about so much of that camaraderie, as you mentioned, and the team as a whole, but I would be remiss if I didn't single out one specific player. This is the Canadian Football League, and quarterbacks are often described as the most important player on the football field. And having Trevor Harris now surpass that 40,000 passing yard mark is pretty incredible. How does that change the way he'll be viewed in CFL history?
I think winning the Grey Cup last year altered the perception. It disappointed me that there was the feeling out there that Trevor had to win a Grey Cup as a starter for his career to be duly honored. I think it was an exemplary career without that. But you look at how often have you heard people say Dan Marino never won a Super Bowl as a starting quarterback? But, by that measure, Trent Dilfer and Brad Johnson should be, Nick Foles should be immortals, because they won Super Bowls as a starting quarterback. Dan Marino, of course, was a legend. And there's that sort of validation that people kind of arbitrarily apply in that case. So I was so happy for Trevor when he did win the Grey Cup as a starter, and that whole narrative was removed. And now you're seeing him, 40,000 yards, 11th all-time in career yardage, not too far away from 10th. And we were watching one of the legends here. We're watching one of the all-time greats, and it's a privilege. And Trevor's 40, so hopefully he's got 12 or 13 years left the way he's going. But you don't get a lot of opportunities to watch somebody kind of move up the ledger very often. I grew up watching Ronnie and George do it routinely. Every time Ronnie threw a pass, every time George ran the ball, they set a new record. That was what it was like for a lot of my childhood centuries ago. But we get this opportunity now. There's two generations of Rider fans, maybe even three, that haven't had an opportunity to watch a player do this historically. We had some opportunities with when Kevin Glen was here in 2015 and 2017. But watching what Trevor Harris is doing right now is magical. It's a privilege, it's an honor, and it's rare. So savor it and enjoy it. And he is certainly a person and a player to celebrate.
So let's talk a little bit about the kicking game here, because that was a bright spot in an unfortunate loss to Hamilton last week for the Riders. Alex Hale made that 52-yard kick against Hamilton, and I think it was kind of a monkey off the back of his shoulders type of moment, you know what I mean? Proving that, he's got what it takes, and we're going to quiet those haters, even though that probably wasn't his mentality. That is how it's perceived, I think, by a lot of Saskatchewan Roughrider fans. I know you wrote a piece on this as well. What can you tell us about the history of 50-plus yard field goals in Rider history, a fan base that has historically been pretty tough on their kickers?
Yeah, it's, and you go back, Paul McCallum's in the Canadian Football Hall of Fame, and Dave Ridgway's in the Canadian Football Hall of Fame. Jack Abanchan was a guard and a kicker in the Hall of Fame. We've been lucky here to have kickers who are of that caliber, but it seems in recent years there's been a fixation on how the kicker is doing, and I hope that after the Roughriders won a Grey Cup last year, despite all the discussion about Brett Lawther, that maybe that would have been somewhat instructive in that, okay, like maybe it wasn't such a big deal. Brett Lawther in the West Final made all his kicks. Sean White hit an upright with one, and that was a close football game. And I think, Brett made some contributions last year that should have been noted, but it seemed like he didn't get credit when there were productive games, and there were several of those last year. This year, I think watching the Roughriders navigate the kicking situation last year and ultimately win a Grey Cup, maybe I think that should have been a lesson that, okay, maybe the coaches know what they're doing here. Not that there was any doubt, I think, by and large, but with this kicking situation, like, this is what these people do for a living every day. They're watching every rep in practice, as Jeff Stusik was talking about yesterday on the Sportscage. I mean, they're timing the snap to the holder. They're charting the rotations. They're more invested in this than anybody. And given that and their track record, maybe, like, let's just acknowledge that they know what they're doing here. I think that should be pretty obvious. And so when Alex Hale has the kind of game that he had, and he made all his kicks the week before, 3 kicks over 40 yards, 3 successful kicks over 40 yards. I was happy for him, and I was happy that maybe that narrative will just go away, because we've been listening to it for a year and a half. And when Brett had a bad game against Montreal in 2024, and on and on and on it went. And then when he makes 36 out of 37 kicks at one point, subsequent to that, the only miss being a 60-yard prayer into the wind, yet that seemed to be kind of forgotten. People remember the Montreal game more than they remembered. I shouldn't say people. There were individuals who remembered the tough game he had against Montreal as opposed to the subsequent 36 for 37. Can we just put the kicking issue to bed, please?
And I don't know what it is about Saskatchewan and kickers.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's some history there, but we'll have to dig into that another day.
Sometimes, last year it's sometimes it's nobody talks about the Plains of Land, and last year the team started off 8-1 and won a Grey Cup, and there really wasn't much to look at and say, okay, well, that's a concern. But I think the inclination is sometimes to focus on what needs refining or improvement in the eyes of some. I've likened it to going to a restaurant. If you go to a restaurant, you have a really good meal, you might leave 25% as a tip instead of 20, or you might thank your server. But I don't think you're going to ask to see the manager just to say, that was a really good filet mignon. But if that's not to your liking, and it's a meal that you think is unsatisfactory, you're gonna ask for the manager. I think the nature of feedback and the nature of response tends to lean toward the negative. So even when a team is 8-1, if the kicker isn't isn't seen to be performing at a certain level. It seemed to me that was what was happening last year. Nobody was talking about the planes that landed, or at least not in sufficient numbers, if that makes any sense. I'm not sure that's an apt analogy, but it's the best I can do today.
I like the analogy, honestly, because it's the same thing with online reviews, right? You use restaurants as an example. There's always people who are going to flock to go complain about a bad experience, but how often do you see people going out of their way to leave a positive review?
Yeah, I think that's just human nature, and maybe that's
so we need to do better.
It's just and the bar has been set so high with kicking now, just across football. I mean, when Jack Avensham was a Riders kicker, he was lacing up a kicking shoe between second and third downs. He was the starting guard, and it wasn't uncommon for a kicker back then to be a starter at another position, and same with the punter. And the percentages back then were often below 50, and people tolerated that. Dave Ridgway, to me, is one of the most transformative players in the history of the Canadian Football League, because his second stint with the Roughriders after he was claimed from Montreal in the dispersal draft in 1987, his percentage went up meteorically. And he took kicking to such a level that it made everybody else better, and it made teams expect more from their kickers. And when he became a 85 to 90% kicker, I think there's a real correlation between Dave's development into a legendary kicker and I think the improvement of kicking in the Canadian Football League, because he set the bar for everybody. And now we're seeing 80%, which was once exceptional, is now probably the bottom half of the league in terms of a accuracy rate. And I think I think we're still seeing the Dave Ridgway effect. And then Paul McCallum played a key role in elevating that too. I mean, it was an event when Paul McCallum missed a kick. And during his time with the BC Lions, I'm rambling here, after the infamous missed field goal in the 2004 West Final, Paul McCallum I think he was 46 for 47 in the postseason after that, and the only miss hit an upright. That's how good he was. That's how great he was. That's what kicking has progressed to, and we've seen here with Dave Ridgway raising the bar and Paul McCallum raising that bar. And so Riders kickers have played a key role in creating the expectations that others are held to now. That's my thesis for the day. Is anybody still listening?
Yes. Well, you're going to have a lot more history to write next season once they move the goalposts. So we'll get to that when the time comes in 2027, Rob. But I am getting the signal here. We got to wrap this up, and we got to touch base again here soon, because I have about 20 other things that I think we could probably talk about, but we'll leave it there for today. Appreciate the time, and I look forward to seeing you and Candy next go round.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Tegan. Take care.
Yes, you too. Rob Vanstone, he is the Saskatchewan Roughrider historian and senior journalist with the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Of course, he was joining us on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline. Perfect pizza, generous amount of toppings, and all the great favorites you love. We got to take a quick break. We'll be back here in just a moment. Okay, this is the Sports Cage on 620 CKRM and streaming at sportscage.com.
Have you seen the patio at PumpJack's Cathedral?
Seen it? I've practically moved in.
Do they at least charge you rent?
Only if I stop ordering food.
I don't blame you. Great food, daily food and drink specials.
30 beers on tap, including local favorites.
And there's no better place to catch the game with friends.
So what are we waiting for?
I'm waiting for this conversation to be over. Let's go.
On the corner of Albert and 13th, PumpJack's Cathedral Saloon and Steakhouse. Come early, stay late. The place where friends meet.
Play of the game? Touchdown! More like the game to play. The new Saskatchewan Roughriders Scratch and Win ticket. It's your chance to win 10 years of Rider season tickets, a premium suite for the home opener and the Labor Day Classic, and tons of Rider swag. Plus, 2 chances to win $75,000. Tickets available at your favorite lottery retailers. Proudly brought to you by Sask Lotteries, supporting sport, culture, and recreation across the province. Please play responsibly.
You wouldn't show up to an Oilers game in red and gold, and you wouldn't try to clear a Regina snowdrift in a subcompact hatchback, and you definitely wouldn't try and flip a steak with a screwdriver. So why are you heading to the job site without your tickets? For fall protection, first aid, respiratory and drug and alcohol testing to scissor lift training, it's all right here in Regina. Don't take the risk. Armor Safety Inc. provides comprehensive occupational safety and health services to Saskatchewan industry. Get your armor on. ArmorSafety.com.
If you're wondering if post-secondary training is a good idea, consider Regina Trades and Skills. If you're coming out of high school or on a gap year, here's something to think about. Traditional post-secondary can take years and cost a fortune. At Regina Trades and Skills, their programs are 10 weeks or less, there's no tuition, and you get paid while you train. Plus, they connect you to employers ready to hire when you graduate. Curiosity got ya? Learn more about all of our courses at rtsc.org.
For 70 years, Freeze Tallman has been more than a building supplier. It's been part of the community. Family owned since 1956, Freeze Tallman is proud to grow alongside the families, builders, and businesses they serve. This milestone is about more than time. It's about trust, hard work, and relationships built to last. Thank you for being part of the Freeze Tallman story. Visit freezetallman.com. Freeze Tallman. Locally owned, family grown, rooted in our community for 70 years.
It's time for the Sports Ticker, brought to you by Extreme Hockey and Sport, 1425 McIntyre Street, the Cooperator Center, Moose Jaw Temple Garden Center, and online at extremehockey.net.
Major League Baseball action. Toronto Blue Jays just threw out first pitch there, taking on the Tampa Bay Rays. I guess they're in Florida, so they didn't throw it out, but you get what I'm saying. Soriano's on the mound for the Jays tonight. Regina Sports Hall of Fame has announced its class of 2026. 6 individuals will be inducted along with 1 championship team. We'll have a little bit of audio to share with you regarding that announcement from earlier today, but if you don't want to wait, that's cool. Go to sportscage.com and get the full rundown of everything that you might have missed. The 23rd annual induction ceremony is coming up on October the 8th. WNBA action tonight. We were talking about it with Daniella Ponticelli earlier in the show. Caitlin Clark and the Fever head into Toronto for their first game against the Tempo. And that should be an entertaining one to watch if you want to see Caitlin Clark in action north of the border. That's a good one. That's going to be coming up here in about 2 minutes. They'll be tipping off. That is a look at your sports ticker, which is brought to you by Extreme Hockey and Sport. And now we're going to head out on the Western Pizza guest hotline to talk a little bit of golf here quickly. Flowing Springs, Brian Raymond, thank you very much for taking the time.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Trust me.
How's the course been looking this week?
The course is in fantastic shape. The heat that we've had has just brought the growth of all the grass up on the fairways, in the rough, everywhere, and it is lush, it is green, and it is busy. But we have some great specials. Like tomorrow is Wednesday. Every Monday and every Wednesday we have a special for ladies and seniors. Those seniors are over 60, and it's just $42 to come out and play the golf course.
Okay, that's a wicked deal. I might have to hop over there after the Sportscage tomorrow because I am filling in for Barney one more day. But because I'm a terrible planner, can I book everything online, or should I call ahead for that?
Well, that's a really good question. We book online at flowingspringsgolf.com. We book through the Tion system, and of course you can call us at 306-543-5050. If you only want to play 9 holes, we do have a 9-hole rate. We have a fantastic driving range and great facilities, great staff to look after you inside the clubhouse as well.
Ooh, take advantage of all of those specials. Get booked online at flowingspringsgolf.com. You know, the golf season is always far too short, but we got to take advantage of it while we can. So I'm glad to hear the course is looking fantastic, and maybe we'll see you out there tomorrow, Brian.
Well, that would be awesome, and take advantage of this great weather. We don't know how much longer it's going to last.
Yeah, you got that right. Thank you so much for the time, Brian Raymond of Flowing Springs. We'll catch up with you a little bit later on.
All right, take care. Bye now.
Appreciate the time. Brian Raymond of Flowing Springs joining us on the Western Pizza guest hotline. Of course, we do need to take a quick break here and get you into the news, everything that you might have missed throughout the day. So let's take that break right now. It's the Sports Cage on 620 CKRM and streaming at sportscage.com.
This is 620 CKRM Regina, the voice of Saskatchewan, a Harvard media station, streaming everywhere at 620CKRM.com.
The news is brought to you by Crestview Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, home of Saskatchewan's biggest selection of Ram trucks and Jeeps. CrestviewChrysler.ca.
It's 5 o'clock. A good evening. Mainly sunny and 25 degrees in Regina. I'm Will Manzik from the SAS Today newsroom with 620 CKRM News. The city of Regina is considering steps to secure land needed for the Saskatchewan Drive corridor plan. The city says 2704 Saskatchewan Drive is required for widening and improving the roadway, sidewalks, and utilities. Negotiations with the property owners are continuing. However, if an agreement cannot be reached, the city could expropriate the property for the public project. Council approved the Saskatchewan Drive widening in 2017. Funding was approved in 2022, followed by additional funding in 2023. The final sand grains are trickling through the tariff hourglass. Many Canadian businesses and producers are bracing for 50% American tariffs on nearly $20 billion of Canadian goods. Some of these items include honey, hockey sticks, dairy, and down jackets. Both Prime Minister Mark Carney and U.S. President Donald Trump spoke yesterday and today. No further details on today's conversation have been released. Trade representatives from both sides are also expected to meet today as well. The tariffs go into effect at 10:01 p.m. local time, which is 12:01 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. New housing construction in Saskatchewan increased nearly 24% over the past year, ranking second among provinces. Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation data shows housing starts rose 23.9% between July of 2025 and 2026. Single-family starts climbed at 22.8%, while multiple unit construction increased 24.5%. Saskatchewan's real GDP also reached a record $85.4 billion in 2025. Private investment rose 12% to $13.6 billion, leading all provinces. Fear takes a backseat to fundraising in Regina this Saturday. Dozens of people are preparing to rappel down one of the city's tallest buildings. The Easter Seals drop zone sends participants 260 feet down Hill Center Tower 2, with each person raising at least $1,000 to take part. For the cause, participant Erica Sweeney from Kenora is going through with the drop despite her fears.
Actually, I have a fear of heights, so it's going to be an interesting experience, but, it'll be fine.
Funds support programs helping people with disabilities live more independently, including adaptive technology and accessible recreation. The event starts at 8 a.m. and will be happening directly above Victoria Park. That's 620 CKRM News. Read more stories from around your community and around the province at sastoday.ca and 620CKRM.com. Your weather is next.
Matt Fisher here, General Manager at Crestview Chrysler. Our staff here is the best in town, so anytime they're ready for a new vehicle, they get the best price. For a limited time, we're giving that same discount to you. And you know what that means. You pay what we pay. We got a huge selection of Ram trucks, Wranglers, Durangos, Pacificas, and everything in between. If you're shopping for something new, this is officially the best time to stop in and see us. Don't miss employee pricing at Crestview in Regina.
And Kevin's Marine. Make the most of summer with a boat or pontoon from Kevin's Marine in Fort Capel. kevinsmarine.com. Weather for next-gen coatings. Spray coatings for truck bed liners, rocker panels, and more. Same company, new name. 1865 McCarra Street, Regina.
In your precision weather forecast tonight, mainly clear, a southeast wind between 10 to 20 kilometers an hour, low of 11. Tomorrow, partly sunny, a southeast wind between 15 to 25, a high of 26. Tomorrow night's low 13. Thursday, mostly sunny, a northwest wind between 15 to 25, a high of 26. Friday, mostly sunny, a high of 25. And Saturday, mostly sunny, a high of 26. Across the province at this hour, Saskatoon 26, Swift Current 27, Assiniboia 26, Broadview and Moosomin 21, Yorkton and Melville 22, Estevan 22, Weyburn 25. Right now in Moose Jaw, it's partly cloudy. There's an east wind to 8, and it's 26 degrees. In Regina right now, it's mainly sunny. There's a southwest wind to 12, and it's 25 degrees. For more local news that matters to you, subscribe to the daily newsletter at sastoday.ca.
At Kevin's Marine, the lineup is stacked and ready. Legendary Lund boats built for serious fishing and non-stop family fun. Stretch out, crank the tunes, and cruise in style on a brand new pontoon from Bentley or Crest. Or drop the throttle and make waves in a 4-wind sport boat. All powered by trusted Mercury 4-stroke motors. Right now, manufacturer rebates, dealer discounts, and low payment financing. Make decking easy with Shoremaster aluminum docks and lifts. Visit Kevin's Marine in Fort Capel or kevinsmarine.com.
For over 40 years, you've known them as Regina's trusted vehicle protection specialists. Now they're introducing the next gen of coatings. New name, new level of protection. They're now next gen coatings. 3 generations of their family have served your family, and that hasn't changed. Same owners, same commitment, ready for the next gen of truck beds, rocker panels, trailers, bumpers, and running boards. The company hasn't changed, just the name. Next Gen Coatings, 1865 McCarra Street. The next gen starts now.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents The Sports Cage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Sask Lotteries, bringing communities together. Sask Lottery products fund over 12,000 sports, culture, and recreation groups across Saskatchewan. Be part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The Sports Cage. Streaming at sportscage.com, our YouTube channel, and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Welcome back. Tuesday edition of the Sports Cage for Sask Lotteries. Bringing communities together. Sask Lottery products fund over 12,000 sport, culture, and recreation groups across Saskatchewan. My name is Tegan Whitco, joined by Colson Schultz here, keeping us on the air at 620 CKRM, on the stream as well, at sportscage.com, our YouTube channel as well. You can join in the conversation there. You can always text us on the Prairie Land Rentals text line as well. 306-936-6262. We'll get to some of those text messages here in just a bit. Winnipeg fans are not happy with us. That's okay. That's okay. It's a sports show. It's all lighthearted. It's fine. We'll get over it. Okay, Western Pizza Guest Hotline. Perfect pizza, generous amount of toppings, and all the Greek favorites you love. We're going to head out there next and chat with our guy, Glen Suitor.
Time now for press coverage with CFL and Saskatchewan Roughrider legend Glen Suitor on the Sports Cage. Brought to you by Freeze Tallman Lumber, locally owned, family grown, rooted in our community for 70 years in Regina and Fort Capel.
Suits. First of all, congratulations on the newest family member. You bust out your guitar at the wedding this weekend?
Well, what I realized was the ceremony was on the beach with just a few family members, her parents, and actually grandparents all the way from Spain were zooming in, which was 5 a.m. there or something.
Oh.
And brothers and sister, that was it. And the actual jam session reception is going to be on the 29th of the month. But they wanted to get married and actually sign the documents on the day that they met, like their first kind of day of, okay, hey, we're going to be boy and girlfriend kind of thing. And that was 15 years ago. And it was the exact same day. So that's why they wanted to do it there. And they signed the paperwork on a cooler. And I thought that's pretty cool. I mean, that, it's very unconventional, but it's their thing because they're outdoor people and they love the outdoors, skiing and hiking and biking and all those things. So it was fitting.
Well, I'm glad to hear that it was a good time. I know that we had to cut your hit a little bit short on the pregame show heading into that Rider game in Hamilton there, just so we could stay on time and get you there on time. So I'm glad that we get your full attention today and you have my full attention. So we have lots to dive into. Where do you want to start? You want to start with that Hamilton game?
Well, yeah. I think I don't know what the narrative has been throughout the province, and I know there's disappointment, obviously, every time the team loses, there is, of course. But I've heard this one. I've heard this narrative that the defense wasn't prepared for Trey Ford. And I don't buy that. Like, I know Corey Mace would have had the defense ready for either quarterback or even Dolagala if it came down to it. So I don't think that is an issue. That was a problem. 2 weeks ago when they played Ottawa, Barney asked me about the loss of Emilus and having Schaefer Baker out and having Olette out, and I to be honest, this is going to be tough. It's going to be a tough one, even if it's Ottawa. It's going to be tough because the timing is off. Will they be able to get in a groove? And I knew Trevor would take that personally probably and say, watch us do it with the next man up, and they did. Now it was Ottawa. Right, and Ottawa's been struggling to a point where when they get down by a couple of scores early in a game, I know mentally they're starting to get that, oh, here we go again feeling, and then it snowballs on them. So this was a different beast. This was a different team, and they were on the road, and they were playing the Hamilton Tiger Cats in their backyard. And Trey Ford, I know they were prepared for, but he's going to make these type of plays. Anyway, if you're watching the stream, that catch by Carrick Wheatfall was just as good as it's been this year. But that was Trey Ford, throwing off time and off schedule and kind of making it up, playground stuff. And that's why that's his skill set. And I know they were prepared for it, and that didn't work out on that particular play. But I think what happened, Tegan, is the changes on offense have caught up with the timing of the execution of that offense, and I just they are going to kind of really have to work hard on it again this week, and just make sure before their next game, and make sure that no matter who's in the lineup, that they have a little bit better chemistry. I thought it would maybe affect them more than it did in the Ottawa game. It certainly did, I think, in the Hamilton game. I mean, you look at the numbers for Trevor Harris, 200 yards, 2 interceptions, and a touchdown. That's not him. Not this year. No way. I mean, not in his career for the most part. And I'm not blaming anybody. I'm not saying it was the receiver's fault or Trevor was off or anything like that. I just think it's so precise on offense. And when you've had to make changes and juggle guys in and out of the lineup, I think it'll affect you at some point, and I think it did in that game.
What about the depth that we've seen from this receiving core? I mean, we did get Johnny Johnson III with his first career CFL touchdown in that game in Hamilton last week. Again, we all know what the end result of it was, but that's got to be kind of a bright spot in maybe not such a great game for the green and white.
Well, it is, and it really is because of the success early in the season. And so they're in a great place to still take a run. It's going to be all the way down to the wire, I'm sure, as far as who wins the division. So the only real upside of injuries is that your young players get real playing time when it really matters and when games are important. And that's what's happening right now with this receiving core. And that will pay dividends once Emilus gets back and once those guys come back. You're going to have a real deep core that is now ready to sub in if it's a game here or a game there, or knock on wood, if someone went down one of your starters before a playoff game. Del Duncan Busby's experience right now will pay dividends then. So that's always a good, there's really no good things about injuries, but I guess that could be one of them.
Post-game, head coach Corey Mace was talking to us, and he had mentioned that they needed to improve on all facets of the game. All 3 variations. But the one thing that we should make sure we point out, because we're going to talk about it when he's not, fired on all cylinders, we got to talk about him when he is playing well. Alex Hale was perfect, did everything asked of him, 4 for 4 on the night. Is that just a confidence thing, or do you think that it was just everything else in the game, we weren't paying attention to that?
No, I think it was a competition thing. I really
Dawson
do.
Hodge?
Yes, when you bring in another kicker, or if you bring in another safety, or you bring in another quarterback, and maybe there's a temporary locker or two in the middle of the room, and there's new guys in there, I guarantee you it sharpens your focus. And for whatever reason, he's still got to be consistent in the next 3, 4, 5 games, right? This has got to continue, but nothing sharpens your focus more than a guy behind you on the depth chart. I've said it many times. You can talk to the coach and he can give you all kinds of inspirational discussions and, give you the speech from any given Sunday from Al Pacino. And, it's not gonna do what another kicker in the practice scenario and in competition with you, it's not going to do what that can do. So I think it's a reflection of that. I think he was focused. He's always had a live leg. I've said that many times. I think he's got a real strong leg, can make those long ones. And now it's just about focus and consistency, and competition sharpened that. I really believe so.
How do you balance that as a player, Glenn? I mean, obviously, if you're a guy like Alex Hale and you have Dawson Hodge coming in behind you, you want to do everything you can to be helpful and, ensure their success, but you're also kind of looking over your shoulder saying, well, yeah, I hope you do great, but don't take my job.
Yeah, I would say, T, it's a great question, but I would say that it's different for a kicker because they really don't have to talk much. I mean, their job, once it's on the tee, it's kind of their own personal swing. It's like a golf swing almost. And it's their own technique, their own steps, exactly how they do it. If it was a free safety or a receiver and you were the veteran guy, you're trying to help the young guy because he's a teammate. You're trying to help him with the offense or the defense and the schemes and the checks. And, you want to be there for your teammate. And so do the kickers, but they don't have to. It's not sort of mandatory. The kickers can kind of just do their own thing, and may the best man win almost. That's why it's such a unique job in our game. I mean, everybody is just getting banged up and back and forth and digging and tackling and blocking and all those things. And these guys come out and sometimes you go, all you need to do is do this one thing, just kick it. But the mental pressure they're under and the fact that they are kind of just standing there with clean uniforms all game and then need to walk out in a crucial moment. And those points are the difference. That's immense pressure in a lot of ways. It's really a mental game, like a golf swing, and as soon as you start getting in your own head, I think working with Ridgway, he would tell me this, that you get in your own head and you start to second guess, and then you start to make adjustments to your routine, and then it's a guessing game from there. But again, I think this competition last week was bang on the way to do it. I think Coach got what he needed, which is a focused Hale, and he went out and went perfect. And I good for him. Good for him for responding.
Well, he's going to have that competition behind him again when they travel to BC to take on the surging Lions this week. I mean, when you're looking at this Riders D, what do they need to do to game plan to shut down Nathan Rourke this week?
Well, yeah, and I think they probably will have another sort of issue on their hands, which is trying to contain Xander Horvath, which in combination possibly with James Butler, both excellent players, but both very different type of players. Horvath is a big guy. I mean, he's like a 6'3", 235, almost fullback size with tailback speed and great moves in the hole. So, it's like he's a triple threat, they used to say in the performing arts business. But you combine that with Nathan and that receiving core again, how they're healthy and they're getting their guys back. They got Hatcher and McInnes, and they're all coming back now healthy. So yeah, listen, they're gonna have to be sharper in their rules, in their like for instance, if you're a defensive end and you have containment, you have to be sharper in that. You can go back and look at the Hamilton tape and say, we didn't keep Trey Ford where we needed to keep him, which was in the pocket. And he got outside. When he got outside, he made plays. So Nathan can do that too. Nathan can run. So you gotta be just, on the details, basically.
Offensively, I know you spent a lot of time around quarterbacks in this league, Glenn. What do you think Trevor Harris was thinking on that flight back home before even watching the tape, and then now thereafter, I'm sure he's already back up on the horse and trying to figure out what he was doing. But how does he mentally bounce back from a game like that in Hamilton?
Yeah, he's been there, done that. And, if I know Trevor at all, I know that he will be taking full responsibility for it. And it wasn't just him. It was all three phases, as Coach Mace talked about after the game. But I know Trevor to be that guy who says, I need to be better for us to have an opportunity to win. So he will approach it that way. I don't think when you're a guy like Trevor who puts in the time that he does, both physically and mentally in the preparation, that to say that he was now, because of the loss, is going to go and try to work harder is silly, because there is no harder. He's putting in every ounce of everything he has and every bit of time he can get to prepare for the BC Lions next and their defense and the challenges that they bring in. So you correct the mistakes, you see where you could have done things slightly differently, make sure you register those, and then move on. The part that I think Trevor probably throughout his entire career has had to deal with is putting too much of it on himself. And that's where his teammates come by and make sure he knows that, hey, I got a bad penalty on a return on special teams. That didn't help us either. And that's one thing, by the way, that the Riders need to clean up a little bit is their penalties on the teams.
So cleaning up those penalties against a team that's really finding their stride out in BC. I know you're calling the game, right?
I am, yes. Oh, can't wait. It's the game of the week.
It's going to be entertaining because this is a dogfight in the West. I mean, not to go backwards too far here, but BC goes into Calgary, knocks off the Stamps. I mean, are the Lions slowly now becoming what they thought they were going to be at the start of the season now that they are getting healthy?
Yeah, I think many of the experts across the country felt the Lions would be the team to beat in the West. When I looked at the D-line in Calgary, I thought they're going to make some noise with that defense. Saskatchewan, of course, returning with a lot of their core players and some of even the young guys taking another step. I thought they would be in the fight. We all knew Edmonton would be better. So I think it was quite a shock, actually, when the Lions went 0-3 to start the season. And I think that surprised a lot of people. So yeah, to answer your question, I think most people are looking at this team now and an improved defensive effort. Remember, you go back to the Western Final last year, and they gave up the entire field to Trevor Harris for the winning touchdown, playing almost like a prevent look defense. And they took a lot of criticism. Mike Benavides, their defensive coordinator, took a lot of heat for that. And then they started 0-3, giving up at times over 40 points in a couple of those games, I believe. So now the people, the experts are looking at it saying, hey, your defense isn't good enough. But that's not the case anymore. That BC defense now is ranked, in the top 5. And that defense has come a long way and is playing much better. So it's a different beast now than it was early in the season. And I think the experts maybe the experts are cheering. This is one of the reasons I don't make predictions, Tegan, is because if I make a prediction, you're going to hear me cheering for the team I predicted would win.
Your employer might not like that.
And that wouldn't be good. Yeah.
It's going to be a fun game to watch this week, and I'm really looking forward to it. I do just want to quickly shift gears here to the other Rourke, the up-and-coming Curtis Rourke, who's been making a name for himself down in San Francisco during 49ers training camp. I do understand that, he was playing in that NFL preseason game, went down, a little bit nicked up. Sounds like he's back with the club now, though, with limited reps to prove himself. What are you seeing in his game south of the border that's maybe making him stand out amongst the rest?
Yeah, I haven't seen a lot of it myself on tape and things, so I'm going off of the quotes of, coaches there and it's just what I've read, which is that he is not out of place. He looks good. He's got, great arm talent. The problem, and it's a problem for a lot of guys that go down. I know he got drafted, so it's a little different for him, but if you haven't been drafted and you go down there, the politics you're dealing with are immense. Like you're not getting very many reps. You're going to be way down in the depth chart. And if the reps that you do get don't end up in your area or don't end up, like he could get 3 reps in a practice and those 3 reps could be handoffs. I mean, how do you show you're a great quarterback when you're handing the ball off? I mean, it's a difficult one. So that's what he's facing as a challenge, but they do like him. I've heard people say he's better than Nathan. I'm not going to say that until I see him.
Ooh, clip that.
That's
clickbait.
I don't. I've heard that. I've heard that, Tegan. People have said that, and I just go, whoa, hold on. He has to go out and play a full season before I can even start to say it's close, right? So, but we all wish the best for him. We hope he does make it and stick, and I would say because he was drafted, he's looking at least another year before, if he's kind of bouncing around and on practice rosters or injured lists or whatever they put him on, and he's not dressing for games, eventually he's going to say, like Nathan did, I want to play. I want to lead a team.
And that's the intriguing part for Saskatchewan Roughrider fans being under contract with the green and white. I mean, potentially when Trevor Harris decides that he wants to hang up the cleats for good, and I'm not suggesting he's going to do that anytime soon, this could be the future of the franchise for the Riders.
Nathan against Nathan.
Could you imagine how much fun that would be?
Rourke, or I should say Rourke versus Rourke, not Nathan.
Yeah, Nathan versus Curtis, but same thing.
Yeah,
I knew what you meant.
They do have different first names. Rourke versus Rourke. And it would be cool because, Canadians and all of that. But speaking of Canadians, and I don't mean to sidetrack here, but how about our flag football girls and men? First of all, the women's team.
Beating the U.S.?
Knock off the USA and punch their ticket to the Olympics, which they had anyway because they had won the semifinal. But they beat the USA, and many are down there now saying that Canada, from the women's side, has really closed the gap. And it's anyone's gold medal in a couple of years. The men win the bronze, and because the USA is the host team, and if you're watching the feed, you're seeing a little of the action right here. I mean, Sarah Parker, how about her MVP of the entire tournament in Germany? That's our quarterback for the women. And Michael O'Connor, who is a teammate of Nathan Rourke's in BC, quarterbacked the men's team, and they won the bronze. But because the USA is the host team in the Olympics, and they won the tournament down there, they already had their berths, so it was the next 2. And so Italy and Canada punched their ticket on the men's side as well to get to the Olympics in 28. So mission accomplished for both teams, and man, I'm getting excited about this flag, man. It's everybody is playing it, everybody loves it, and now it's a chance that our country could go and these guys could go represent Canada and win a gold medal.
And that would be such a cool thing to see, Glenn. I do just want to ask from your perspective. Obviously, Saskatchewan, we're a football province. We kind of always have been. Record flag football registration numbers. So there's a lot of people around here really excited. But what do you think this could mean for not only flag football, grassroots football organizations throughout Canada, but also the CFL?
Well, I think it's huge. I mean, I know there's some concern in the tackle football minor world that the people that are playing, the kids that are playing flag are not transferring as much as they thought they would to tackle. But let's just wait and see how that pans out. This is a real sort of explosion of popularity in the flag world. And what it's doing is it's throwing and catching the football. It's those fundamentals that are so important at all levels with tackle or flag or touch, whatever level you're playing at. That skill set is unique through all of it. It's the same through all of it. So I think it can only be good. And the one thing that every other sport has been able to do that we couldn't in football was have an Olympic event, have Team Canada in football, because you can't play a tackle football game the next day. you have to rest your body for a week, and there's no way you could fit that in a couple of weeks of the Olympics. So football was never on the international stage like that. They were at different levels, juniors and things like that, but not when it came to the Olympics. Full-on coverage, millions of people watching, gold medals on the line, and now it can happen. And if it happens with a couple of NFL players sprinkled in there, which will be an interesting debate as we get going, Tegan, and maybe a couple CFL players sprinkled in there too, man, that can only help the popularity. You can watch them win a gold medal, Canadians, and, let's just hypothetically, I haven't heard this. I know the coach down there in Paul Police, but this is not inside information. But let's say Sam Emelis is on the team and he wins a gold. There's going to be a whole bunch of kids that see him win the gold and go, you know what? I want to go see him. He's a Saskatchewan Roughrider as well. I want to go see him play tackle football as well. So I think it's only great, only good stuff.
And it's only going to boost Olympic viewership numbers here in Canada. I can guarantee you that.
Right?
For sure.
It really will. It really will. You're bang on. I think, you watch the 100 meters and a couple of other events, but people will be locked into flag football. I've already put in my request, and it's not even my volunteer notice. I want to volunteer to help cover the flag football tournaments, especially the Olympics in LA, because
you and probably
I just want to be around it. It's fun. Yeah, it's tons of fun. It's high scoring. It's athletic, and it's throwing and catching the football. I love it.
I mean, historically, we're known for loving our Winter Olympics, but 2028 is going to be a little different. I cannot wait. And plenty to talk about as we get closer. But Glenn, I have taken up far too much of your time. So appreciate you doing this as always. Thank you. We'll have you on a little bit later on this week. Oh, and have a great call this weekend.
Yes. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And just for all the fans to understand, I'll make sure I have a purple tie, not an orange one or a green one, okay, when I do the Rider game. And I'm not cheering, nor am I cheering for the other team to compensate for cheering. I'm not doing that either. I'm just calling it the way I see it and not cheering for either team. I want to see a good football game.
You really got in trouble for the color of your tie from the fans?
Oh, yeah. At least one tweet or something with, I see you got a blue tie. You got a blue tie on. Maybe you're an Argos fan. I guess you're an Argos fan. No.
Yeah, because that's going to impact the outcome on the field, Glenn.
Yeah, exactly.
My gosh.
Exactly. So there'll be no cheering. Just calling it like I see it, and let's hope it goes down to overtime.
I love that. Let's bring it on. Okay, have a great call. Have a good week, and we'll touch base this weekend.
Thanks, Egan. Take care.
All right. Glen Suitor, ladies and gentlemen, joining us for Freeze Tallman, more than a lumberyard, locally owned, family grown, rooted in our community for 70 years in Regina and Fort Capel, and delivery available. Colson, I'm sure the text line is lighting up right now. I'm kind of scared to check it, but we'll do that while we take a break. You can text us in the meantime. Prairie Land Rentals text line, from small power tools to skid steers, they probably have what you need. Deal with the owner at 600 Albert Street. Again, 306-936-6262 if you want to chime in there. But we should probably do trivia. PumpJack's trivia. See, I knew Colson would remind me. So I have a trivia question for you. The prize, obviously, from PumpJack's trivia, we have $100 gift card that you can win right now if you call us. Now, you do need to call us in order to play along for a chance to win. $100. We might have a little consolation prize. Okay, if you've listened before, you know we have a consolation prize in it for you. But here is your trivia question. Considering the news that came down today regarding the Regina Sports Hall of Fame and the most recent inductees, all the athletes in that one group, I wanted to test your history. Who was the first player to be inducted into the Regina Sports Hall of Fame? Call us now, 306-936-6262, or toll free 1-866-767-0620 for a chance to win a $100 gift card for PumpJack's Cathedral. Who was the first player to be inducted into the Regina Sports Hall of Fame? 306-936-6262, and toll free 1-866-767-0620. We're taking your calls next, so light up those phone lines. First, we'll take a break. This is the 620 CKRM Sportscage, which is streaming at sportscage.com and on the mighty 620 CKRM.
The original 620 CKRM Country Cookouts are back for the harvest season. As you and the crew take a break from taking crop off the field, we'll fill you up with a delicious meal from Nikki's Cafe and Catering. We'll also bring you prizes and live entertainment. Keep it on CKRM for the dinner bell cue to call, and you could be one of our lucky 8 Fall Country Cookout winners. 620 CKRM's Country Cookouts for
Municipal Hail Insurance, International Rural Exchange Canada, Original 16, Last Mountain Distillery, and Nikki's Cafe and Catering.
The Roughriders season is here, and the biggest 50-50 in Saskatchewan is back. Last year's 50-50 raised over $3.3 million for amateur football in Saskatchewan, and we couldn't do it without you. Thank you, Rider Nation. This year, we have bigger loyalty and early bird prizes than ever before, not to mention those life-changing 50-50 jackpots. See all of the prizes and buy your tickets today at riders5050.ca, and never miss a chance to win when you sign up for the 50-50 Club.
Riders 50-50 is presented by ISC.
Lottery license LR260010.
Why test for asbestos? Because before 1990, asbestos was commonly used in more than 3,000 building materials and other products. Because when asbestos fibers become airborne, they get into the lungs and cause severe damage over time. Because asbestos exposure is the #1 cause of work-related deaths in Saskatchewan. Built before 1990? Test for asbestos. Start at worksafesask.ca.
Some people admire abstract art, but we'd rather admire abstract pizza, a masterpiece of pepperoni, smoky ham, crispy bacon, bubbling melty cheese, every slice a work of delicious perfection. And if your masterpiece needs a supporting cast, add tender ribs, hearty lasagna, or mouth-watering souvlaki on the side.
Western Pizza. Dine in or take out today.
And get it hot, get it fast. Western Pizza.
It's time for Sportscage Trivia for PumpJack's. Great food, cold local draft, and a place that feels like home.
Let's head out on the Western Pizza guest hotline, see if we can get the correct answer to our trivia question here. It's for PumpJack's, a chance to win a $100 gift card. And we have Brendan on the line. Okay.
Yes.
Brendan, who was the first athlete to be inducted into the Regina Sports Hall of Fame?
There's actually more than one person inducted at the same time. There's Lauren Davis, Alan Ford, Charles Liebel, and Ken McLeod.
I would have taken one of those. So yes, congratulations.
Right on.
Bonus points, Brendan, if you can tell me which year that was. When was it established? Do you remember?
2002.
Oh, you're so close. 2003. You still win. It doesn't matter. I mean, you could have said 2026, and I would have still given you the $100 for PumpJack's. Doesn't matter.
Well, they don't know. That's awesome.
Appreciate you playing along, Brendan. Yeah, that means that we're going to hook you up with $100 for PumpJack's, and we'll do this again next week. So thanks so much for listening in and playing along.
Thanks for having me. No, sweet. Have a good day.
Yes, you as well. Colson's going to get your information from you if he doesn't have it already so that we can make sure that we get said gift card to our buddy there. Yes, PumpJack's Trivia. We do play this every single Tuesday. Normally it's with Barney. I'm just filling in for him today, so you can feel free to join us next week. If we don't give away the gift card, by the way, it is a progressive prize, so it'll just continue to grow every time. And then, yeah, we have little consolation prizes for those who don't play along. Yeah, we got her. We did her. That's a win. That's a win. I'm happy about that. We should also talk a little bit about some of the people who were inducted today or announced to be inducted. Ceremony is going to be taking place October 8th at the 23rd annual induction ceremony. See, that was a little hint I gave earlier. But, I mean, math isn't my strong suit, so I'm not judging anybody if they didn't do the quick math on that one. 6 individuals and 1 championship team will be inducted into the Regina Sports Hall of Fame. Among them, we have the 2006 Regina Squid men's water polo team. They made Saskatchewan sports history by winning the 2006 Canadian Senior Men's Tier 1 National Championship, the first men's national water polo for a Saskatchewan team. There's also Mal and Dale Isaac, who were multi-sport builders. They were broadcasters, actually, legendary sports broadcasters who collectively covered a ton of Grey Cups, They went to the Olympics and other major sporting events. There was also Danny Banda. He was a former Saskatchewan Roughrider and Regina Capitals hockey standout. You probably recognize that name. Lois Cause, lawn bowling, provincial champion, and longtime Regina Lawn Bowling Club volunteer. Also, Rod Schmidt, longtime city sports and venue leader who helped oversee the development of Mosaic Stadium. And then we have someone that we're actually going to hear from in just a sec here. Jan Stein, 7-time national para long jump champion and Canadian record holder. Now, earlier today at the announcement, the presser that they held with media and, of course, all of the inductees, Jans was there and talked a little bit about, the story that led to this point.
I've always been like a full-time athlete, so my roots is hockey. And about 14 years of hockey, and then wrestling in high school, extremely long story short. So I wrestled high school and got involved in coaching high school wrestling. And I started training jiu-jitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu and mixed martial arts. And I went 3-0 in professional fighting and 1-2 in amateur, something like that. But I was really good at MMA and jiu-jitsu. And I'm a 3-stripe jiu-jitsu black belt now, one of the original jiu-jitsu black belts in Saskatchewan. So I do multi-sport. But when I lost my leg and got my accident in 2011, I had no idea I even how to run or anything about track and field. And I just kind of knew somebody that was University of Regina working for Athletics Canada, asked me, and got myself a running blade and started doing it. And within a year, I started enjoying it and started becoming faster and faster and faster. But at the age of 32 is when I started. So it's crazy to know that I'm the fastest para-athlete in Canada and have the national record, and the list goes on at my age and missing a limb, so it's quite incredible, and I'm still active. So
yeah, he said it there right at the end. Jan Stein, who is going to be inducted into the Regina Sports Hall of Fame this fall. He mentioned his story, and it's absolutely incredible the way that he persevered, and it is really such an inspirational story. And there was the question asked, what kept you going instead of just deciding to throw in the towel and retire?
I broke the national record last year in Ottawa, and I kind of announced my retirement, but I just keep excelling and keep breaking records and setting goals for myself and smashing those goals. So why not? I'm healthy, I'm in shape, I'm not broken. Well, I'm missing a left leg, but besides that, I'm still good to go.
What a solid attitude to have. I'm not broken. I'm missing my leg, but I'm not broken. That is so cool. I want to be friends with this guy. Okay, Jan Stein also said he's not done there. In fact, he was talking at this press conference when speaking to media, saying he has more goals to accomplish.
I'm still an active athlete, still representing Team Canada. I'm on a month break right now, but I have another season or two in me. Pan Am's next year, Worlds, and LA Olympics. Who knows? I've qualified for the last 3 Olympics, so why not go for 4? But I'm old now. So
I would hardly call that man old.
Not broken, but old.
Yeah, not broken, not old, just missing a leg. He's fantastic. I want to hear more from Jan Stein. Going to be inducted in October to the Regina Sports Hall of Fame. So let's maybe hear from him about what his initial reaction was when he found the news out.
It's amazing. It's a huge accomplishment. Like I said, you always make goals and set goals for yourself, like making it to the Olympics, qualifying for the Olympics. It's always been in the back of my head to be a Sports Hall of Famer. Friends are in the Saskatchewan Sports Hall of Fame. I went to school with Ryan Getzlaff at Usher Collegiate, and it's kind of thinking about it, and then all of a sudden I get a phone call, and here I am. So it's incredible.
Yeah, that's a pretty incredible story there from Jan Stein, who was at that press conference today talking about really a lot of things that he was able to overcome in his life and in his professional athletic career. And he was even talking about, now that he's going to the Pan Am Games and he's continuing to train and, he's doing this on top of so many other things in his life. We also heard that, he's a black belt. So don't mess with this guy. How does MMA experience translate into his track career?
I mean, jiu-jitsu's tough, right? MMA is the toughest sport on the planet. Wrestling's the toughest sport on the planet. It does transition over really well. They supplement each other really well in like the explosiveness and the strength building and the speed and power. But yeah, like the people are a little bit different, right? I'm the type of person that would break my arm and not say anything about it. But, you know, a typical track athlete would take months or whatever off, right? So it's a little bit different, and that's just kind of my grind and my toughness, not just in sport, but in life.
Congratulations to Jan Stein, Regina Sport Hall of Fame future inductee. He'll be going into the Hall officially this October. Another individual that we had the pleasure of catching up with at the announcement earlier today, Rod Schmidt. I mentioned earlier that this was a longtime sports and venue leader who helped oversee the Mosaic Stadium development, the Mosaic Stadium that we come to know and watch all of the Rider games at today. So we spoke with Rod about what it meant to him to be inducted.
It means a lot. Like I've been at every one of these events. I've heard the stories that the honorees or inductees have. And it's amazing. It's amazing the kind of people that we have in our city and what they've contributed to our city, what they've contributed to our province and our country. It's pretty cool to be included in that kind of world. So it means a lot. It means a lot. Yeah.
As a builder in this community, you know, a longtime advocate for improving sport here in Regina. Very, very well deserved to see Rod Schmidt going into the Hall. He was also talking about, you know, what sports does mean to the community as a whole and why he's so passionate about it.
I've worked in the public realm for a long time, and a lot of the things I hear from people, like one of the great things about the city is our facilities. And things, you know, when I go by fields that I was involved in the development of, you see people laughing and smiling, kids having fun. It's still rewarding 20 years after you've stopped that job, so yeah.
Obviously, the major piece that I mentioned about Rod Schmidt was that he was heavily involved in the development of Mosaic Stadium, but what else did he do for the community of Regina?
I was seconded from the city to work on the Canada Games in 2005. So we upgraded Douglas Park track. We upgraded, we built a bridge out at the Wascana Trails. We did a boat launch out at Sask Beach. We worked with the rowing and canoe clubs to add to their venues. We were part of building 2 soccer fields in Moose Jaw. There's a heck of a legacy there. There was 22 sport venues that we spent some money on, and 64 non-sport venues. It was a heck of a fun thing, and met a lot of great people, and that's caused me to spend a lot of time volunteering at Canada Games for the last 20 years. Then.
This is a gentleman who has his fingerprints all over so many different parts of not only this city but the surrounding area as well. So well-deserved. Rod Schmidt being inducted into the Regina Sport Hall of Fame. He did also take us through what goes on in his mind when he gets to see the fruits of his labor come to fruition. You know, he gets to appreciate all of the hard work that he's put in, specifically when he's walking through Mosaic Stadium.
I still look for bugs, still look for things that we missed, but it's with a lot of pride. You know, we talked about things like walking in on any of the 4 gates to have a sense of awe. And people look up at the building, the roof line, and then when they get closer to the edge, they go, wow. I still stand there and watch people coming in, and you know they're there for the first time because they're going, wow. So I still get a little goosebumpy.
Oh, yeah. Still looking for bugs. Still looking for problems. Come on, Rod. Appreciate it a little bit. And congratulations, dang it, getting inducted into the Sports Hall of Fame here in Regina. So well deserved. All of these individuals. All 6 of them, including Danny Banda, Jan Stein, Lois Koss, Rod Schmidt, who we just heard from there, Malindale Isaac, and then, of course, the 2006 Regina Squid men's water polo team. I do want to remind you right now, this is your final call if you want to get entered in for SaskTel Pick the Score. We got prizes like a $200 gift card up for grabs, tickets to the next home game for your Saskatchewan Roughriders. So all you need to do is get your text sent into us on the Prairie Land Rentals text line with your score prediction and your name. Again, I'm going to say that again for the people in the back. Score prediction and your name. We do need your name, and we need like an actual score prediction, not just the word score. Be surprised how often we get that. 306-936-6262. Text that into us because at the end of the show, that is when we're cutting her off, okay? Kickoff Sunday at 5 o'clock from BC Place as the Riders are taking on the Lions. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back here with a little bit more and your sports ticker to wrap things up. It's a Sports Cage on the home of local sports on 620 CKRM and streaming at sportscage.com.
If you've got a Steelcraft garage door, you've got a door with parts manufactured and assembled right here in Canada. A door with better insulation and seal, plus a warranty you're probably never going to use. Combined with a LiftMaster opener, it's the right choice. And if you don't have a Steelcraft garage door, you should get one. And a LiftMaster opener. 100% made by Canadians for Canadians. Steady, tariff-free pricing and great quality, no matter what.
Steelcraft door, Steelcraft door, Steelcraft door. We offer more.
Great coaches make great calls. And at home, you're in control of the game. Add SaskTel TV to your lineup and enjoy popular channels, including sports in stunning 4K for as low as $40 a month. So, what do you say, Coach? Ready to add in the difference maker? Visit SaskTel.com/make-the-call to learn more. Conditions apply.
The world is changing. From the misuse of AI and the rise of deepfakes to the dangerous spread of misinformation, it's getting harder for Canadians to separate fact from fiction. That's why having a trustworthy news source is vital. At Global News, we're committed to objective journalism that cuts through the noise. Stick to the facts. Global News, Canada's trusted news.
Text CKRM 306-936-6262. Powered by Prairie Land Rentals. From power tools to skid steers, they probably have what you need for your job. 600 Albert Street, where you deal with the owner. It's time for the Sports Ticker. Brought to you by Steelcraft Doors Regina. Made in Western Canada for Western Canadians.
Oh, I need to grab the Sports Ticker. Oh, I also need to get the Toronto Blue Jays score because they are taking on the Tampa Bay Rays right now. They're just showing a replay. Looked like a 2 outs. We'll see here. I'll just look it up. They're taking forever to... Toronto Blue Jays are in Tampa Bay right now. Oh, it's 6-0. Toronto, bottom of the fourth. Look at that. Whew, I was not expecting that. I thought I saw 6-0, but I wasn't expecting it to be in favor of the Jays. Moving on. The Regina Sports Hall of Fame, we just went through the list. Their class of 2026 was announced today. 6 individuals and 1 championship team. Induction happens this fall. WNBA, Caitlin Clark and the Fever. Let me see if I can get a WNBA score for us as well. I should have been more prepared for this, Colson. What are you letting me do here? Okay, so the Fever up 57-49 over the Toronto Tempo at half.
That's a cover right now.
That is a cover right now. I was just
Too
about
bad we
to
need
say.
that for the whole game.
Well, it can still happen. They made it this far through the game, and it's not like it's been a blowout. I'm trying to pull up some stats here just to kind of see where we're at. But, hey, that's not looking half bad. Maybe our sprinkle situation isn't going to be too shabby, dare I say. I don't know. I'm still not going to hold my breath, though, Colson. You're right. When you look at the records of these two teams, I don't have high hopes. But the Toronto Blue Jays, if they can hang on... Although anything can happen in a single half inning. So I'm also not going to hold my breath on that one. You know what you can do? You can also take advantage of the Saskatchewan Roughrider 50/50 Foundation. They have their exclusive early bird prize. So Sparkling Hill Getaway for 2. And it includes return flights, Saskatchewan to Kelowna, 2 nights at Sparkling Hill Resort, plus food credits, spa credits, or take $5,000. Riders5050.ca. Get in on that 50/50 jackpot as well. Colson, I know that we got to get off air pretty quickly here, but you had an opportunity to maybe see the Toronto Blue Jays right before their off day, how they decided their fantasy football draft, the order.
Oh, I think I saw.
They had members from the coaching staff pitch off the mound, and then Schneider was sitting there with a radar gun.
Nice.
So whoever had the fastest pitch, or they ranked them in order to see who was going to be drafting in what position.
There we go. That's the way to do it. Yeah,
How do you pick your draft order?
Ours is random.
Oh, that's boring.
I know. I made the argument last year that we should make guesses on what my niece's 40 time would be. And then whoever was closest would get first and then to go your way down, which I've seen that one before.
How old is your niece?
She's 2 now. She would have been 1 at the time.
Okay.
So, and I don't think she was properly walking yet. So it would have been a very high time, but still.
Hey, once little Theo, once your son gets old enough.
Yeah, he won't be for this draft, but.
Yeah, might not make it. Might be a little too soon for that.
Yeah, he's holding his head up. That's the bar we're at right now.
That's a win.
That's a few steps away from walking.
That's still a win. But look at that. All your fantasy football draft orders are going to be picked in perpetuity. Well, at least for the next 18 years.
Yeah.
Less 2 when he is actually able to hold his head up and run.
There's going to be a few more cousins here and there, so.
Yeah. You got a big family. The depth chart is deep. You're fine.
Yeah,
you got lots on the roster.
We'll be good.
I just thought that was fun, and clearly that day off did the Jays good. Again, I'm not going to jinx anything. I just knocked on wood. Oh, yeah. Just got a pop fly. I'm going to go home and watch the rest of this game. I'm not going to try to do play-by-play here on the radio, but appreciate you, Colson. Thank you for everything, and thank you to all of our guests who came on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline. Go back and listen to any of the conversations that we had throughout the day, including Rob Vanstone. Daniella Ponticelli was on with us. Dante Caria swung by in studio. Arash Madani, Glen Suitor, and all the other shenanigans that we got up to. So until tomorrow, I will be back then. Barney is off for the rest of the week, so Colson and I will be with you starting tomorrow at 3 p.m. We look forward to it. Until then, have a great night and good evening from the corner of 12th and Rose, the Sportscage studio. Bye.
Listen weekdays at noon for Saskatchewan Today on CKRM with your host, Ryan Young, offering the most extensive agricultural news coverage with precision weather meteorologists in an industry that moves fast. Stay updated with the latest, most reliable information in ag news, crisis and trends, all in one place. Available anytime at SaskAgToday.com. Saskatchewan Today, your trusted source for all things agriculture. Sponsored by Affinity Credit Union on 620 CKRM.
4 home games, 1 season ticket, and brand new perks for Rams fans. Regina Rams season tickets are on sale now, giving you admission to every home game. Season ticket holders receive early entry at Leibel Field to find their perfect spot, plus access